Alright, for 1 week I wasn't able to use my computer, and that was devastating. I turn on a game and I realize, oh shit, my charger is completely broken and I can't put it back together anymore. But it cost me, let's say, $50, and I got it fixed. My computer is worth way more. So knowing that now I will not have to deal with it anymore, with this problem ever again, that's a lifesaver right there. So technically it would have been just worth it to just fix the frustration. But now I can fucking relax. I fucking got it back. Everything's fixed. It's a mild hiccup. And a few things have been changing around, but the premise is still the same. After I released Minecraft video, it got 18 views. Way more than it's supposed to have gotten. And I assume a lot of people see Minecraft in the title, a lot of my subscribers get excited or whatever. But the real idea is that I'm just looking after Minecraft right now. I'm just concerned of what is happening in here, because Minecraft is so weak as a team, as entertainment module, let's put it that way. It has sucked me in. I was interested, but now it has no dominance over me at all, and Minecraft dungeons don't actually interest me at all as well. It seems like a short game. It seems like it's not worth my time, and I just don't like it. I just don't like it that way. For games to be created that way. I almost like released a video with a bunch of Hearthstone footage again. So Hearthstone is constantly dominating my videos technically, and it's a very good team. It's just above Minecraft right now, and it still struggles. So technically you can say that because it's not in the YouTube meta game, I will not find them powerful at all. So I sit down next to Minecraft and I'm hoping that I'll get some passion. I might create a map, and map making is like the core of Minecraft. That's what you have to understand. I ditched AdventureCraft because it's just too frustrating to work with AdventureCraft. And it's not going to be popular enough, even if I make the map, right? I want to make a map that would beat SkyBlock. It's a notorious map, but it's also simple enough to where it restricts your abilities as a map maker significantly. You have to also create something very simple that works right away and you understand what you're doing. You have to give a player simple rules to follow, and then they can figure the rest out automatically, basically. And I think I have one way of doing this. So you can imagine a game where you have to keep moving forward, basically. You build a block. You want to build a block forward, so you just move forward. And if you have the ability to build a block and you moved forward, it's going to be a harmful block because moving forward is the goal of the game, right? So easily achieving goal of the game wouldn't be that much fun. So if you move forward, it's going to be a harmful block, and you have to now recover from the damage. You have to use some kind of resources, and in order to access resources, you have to go to left or right, or you have to go backwards sometimes to access really powerful resources, while the left and right mostly are resources that you just generate ability to generate more blocks, basically. So essentially you're preparing yourself to generate more blocks in either direction if you're moving in these sides. And if you go forward again after already moving forward, it would count as a wind element. As you can tell, there are 4 elements, or there's going to be 4 elements. If I do make the map, this is going to be the first time you go forward, going to trigger fire element, it's going to harm you. The second time you go forward is going to be the wind element, and it's less harmful. It's more like collecting. Actually, fuck, I messed it up. It's going to be earth element, and it's going to be like claiming the land basically, because you already moved forward, and now the second time you move forward, you get resources, which I said you would get by moving either side. But when you move either side, you get to explore basically. It's more of an exploration. So Earth is very actually limited resource, and Earth can only be acquired next to the fire element. So because actually if you move forward from any side, yeah, the rule's not exactly clear. It can be a little bit confusing as well, but that's the fun of just exploring and trying to understand how the game works. Just for me, simple rules like that is like crazy, but it gets even cooler because first of all, it can be expanded a little bit. It doesn't have to just give you one block each time. It could actually open up an entire area, and then the area that was used to be fire, if you move forward again from a different location, your fire area could be cleansed basically and expand into an earth element instead. It's kind of a weird thing for fire not to actually linger, but to turn into a next level element of earth backwards. It's kind of weird. Well, but there's so many variations of this thing. I would rather just do the simplest version of just one block at a time, and there's a lot of things you can do with that. Just like you can do a lot of things with Cookie Clicker. That's the simplicity of it. Because if you happen to be able to generate resources in any way, you technically have a cookie clicker. And it doesn't have to be easy at all. Just with a press of a button, you can't just click and get your resource. Sometimes you have to actually really think about how to deal with this. But again, minigames have been created for a long time. Putting a minigame, a well-crafted minigame, would take a long time. And I don't think I have the patience to do it with the command blocks. I think that's really frustrating thing to learn basically in Minecraft command blocks, like seriously frustrating. The best thing I have done so far is turning adventure mode into survival mode for a brief period, landing you in a random location and doing this adventure to survival switch, which is really satisfying, by the way. It was a really satisfying minigame that I did, but I never really fully released it. I think the version that I did release, like I'm still satisfied with it. It's not bad. If I did release it, I hope I did. But it's really satisfying. That's what I'm gonna say. It's very simple, very satisfying, but because it allows you to teleport in any place in the world, even though it opens up you a new perspective, the way you can play Minecraft, I'm still not sure if it was simple enough. It was its own identity, basically. But what I was saying now is like you might want to be trapped in the sky and explore a completely new set of rules, basically. Every time, maybe even. Why not? Maybe even explore different kinds of resources that you can get, but SkyBlock was a really like a basic puzzle, I suppose. The only thing you have to solve is how to harvest trees and stone, basically. That's kind of it. It's all you have to solve. But in reality, it's pretty boring, right? It's a pretty boring basic puzzle. I was more interested in SkyGrid, playing SkyGrid in a special type of gameplay that I found out, and I probably can enforce that gameplay as well. It was very interesting. You can't jump, and you have to land in a very lucky place where you can remove the blocks from below you and get blocks that way, and try to survive in some crazy ways, building stairs if you accumulate enough resources, like some crazy shit. Because you can't jump, so the only thing you can do is just bridge around until you craft stairs eventually. It was so fucking amazing, I would say. Stuff like, I could potentially bring back SkyGrid, because now Minecraft has its own SkyGrid generator portal technically, but I'm not interested in that at all. I'm way more interested in just doing something simple and very reliable. So that's gonna be the game if I make one. If they manage, let's put this bid on. If they manage to, within the month, get 1,000 points, I'm gonna do the map. I'm gonna do, guys, a little bit of entertainment. If you're really fucking happy about Minecraft still, and you really want the game to flourish for some fucking reason, I do it because I am entangled with it. I have a huge history in Minecraft, and my engine also appreciates it. I started with blocks, and I appreciated how fast I can create those blocks. Well, Minecraft cannot do that, because it's bound to meshes, basically. And it's bound to treating blocks as a part of a mesh as well. They're part of a really nasty structure that you don't want to have. You want blocks to be separate objects that player can interact with and can have abilities, basically. That's it. It's just simple. And technically, it does happen, but it's still stored in a mesh. You can't just pick up a block out of nowhere. The mesh has to be recalculated every single time. And this is what makes explosions very slow, and other interactions with the blocks very slow. It feels a little bit laggy, basically, but it's not the worst part. The worst part is obviously loading, the loading speeds of all those things. I think the worst part about Minecraft is that it's built on Java, basically. Unity is so much better, it's so much easier to access Unity, and it would have been open source as well. Minecraft should have been open source technically by now. It's really frustrating, I would say. So many things are just out of place because of this. And now Minecraft acquiring, Microsoft acquiring Minecraft is pretty sad, actually. Nothing really is happening that's positive, that's exciting, that updates the game in a way that we want it. After EULA change, after service got knocked back basically quite a bit, nothing positive happened except for Hytale, basically. Hytale was announced eventually, and now we're waiting. We can't wait. It promised everything, basically. Everything that Minecraft is supposed to have. So hightail is the only fucking out of this equation. That's it. That's the one thing you have to wait for. And technically, I shouldn't be a part of Minecraft right now. Except, unless I can give some kind of good legacy and like, I'm full of great ideas and I can actually release a better map than SkyBlock for once. And straight up that everyone can play, there's no mods, nothing complicated at all, you just download it and play it right away. And it's a whole new adventure because it's built on completely crazy rules basically. And I can't wait for that. I think it will be great. So the only thing that I'm gonna be waiting for is like 1,000 points. People have to come from all over the place and inspire me to take care of Minecraft just a little bit more. They don't need much, they just need 150 technically, because I'm gonna be donating basically double their effort. I already have like 300 that I can give up, but I'm gonna go back to my team eventually and store the points there. But this is the way to like symbolize that I influence myself a lot. I do a lot of weird shit. I waste my time over and over again. And I don't feel like Minecraft gives me that reason to, the purpose, right? To waste time on it specifically. I have so many things to talk about, to touch, to discover, explore. Like Minecraft is dying already. You know, I would rather just wait for Hytale. You know, it's so much more than Minecraft at this point. It's so much more compelling. Even though it's sometimes I'm not sure if it's a map making software at all. If it's gonna have those features that Minecraft has when it comes to map making, when it comes to Skyblock, when it comes to the only legacy that we're supposed to have for Minecraft, which is map making, is so important. If they missed out on that one, they might just be completely doomed and unsuccessful as a game. You don't leave out map making the same way you don't leave out deck building from Hearthstone. There's a very specific reason why it succeeds when people are allowed to create things, basically. And it doesn't have to be mods. I actually have no reason to like mods or appreciate them. I have never installed them, nor I've installed them in Skyrim or something. I haven't used mods in any games. Pretty much, it's just a burden basically. Trying to find a good mod and that fits, that upgrades the vanilla experience. It's almost impossible. It's almost like worthless, because you want to have the experience that everyone else is having, so that eventually, if it's relevant enough, you can share your experiences finally with someone. If you find a fucking friend, you can share those experiences. But when people mod their games, they become kind of really separated and really uninteresting as well. You really want to squeeze the same thing and try and find something valuable through simplicity and not through force. I can understand enjoying servers because those provide sort of a different experience completely. I can explore servers and enjoy that in Minecraft. Like, that's fine. I went to Hypixel server. It's great. Skyblock, multiplayer, whatever. Pretty cool. It didn't go very far, but I get it. It's cool. It's cool when you can harvest things and then sell things and then buy things. I wanted to do something similar, but like now I'm realizing that it's a little bit too cliche almost. Like, I can do it, but there's nothing spectacular about it. It's more like how do you design a more flashy hamster wheel, basically? And at some point, you're just better off creating some kind of minimalistic arcade that rewards you and allows you to play a bunch of different games, basically, and you master those activities and games. And that's the best you can do. But you're literally reinventing RuneScape at that point. You're reinventing a game that has different activities and rewards you, and that's pretty cool. That's also reinventing of Spawn the Creeper's Forge. That's important. That was a part. That's what I wanted to do, basically, for the longest of time, to just recreate that experience again. But I'm not sure what to do anymore, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm sure my engine is going to be just fine eventually as well. That's another thing that I have to really take care of. And I can, and I will. Because I know there's so much potential. It's such a good technology. And rendering is not that big of a deal, you know? Like, I can attach rendering on objects. And now I have objects with gravity and all the Unity assets apply, basically. The only thing I'm changing is rendering and making sure that I'm not using meshes anymore that have to be loaded in some very complicated manner. I don't want that anymore. I want things to be simple for once. And so I think I can achieve that, and I'll be very happy with this. So, but first I want to do the map justice. I want to do Minecraft justice, the base Minecraft, and then maybe transcend that. Because I want to beat Hytale in case it doesn't work out. I want to take over Minecraft as a legacy in case it's actually important. You know, in the end, it might be actually important. I'm just not sure anymore. Right? If I can enjoy a game, because my enjoyment of the game now depends on other people, whether other people are going to be willing to support me as well. Like, that's important. Because now I'm just playing RuneScape, guys. I'm busy. I want $1 per hour, or I'm going to be screwed. So keep that in mind, that if you really want something, you kind of have to work for it and donate money and empower people. Stop being a fucking loser at that point. If you really want something. And it's not like you have to craft it. You will always find people who are actually capable of bringing you what you want. You just have to say, hey, how much does it cost, basically? And that's it. And just let them do it. It's not easy to find these people, actually. So it's a double frustration, right? Like, you would obviously pay for it, but you want to see establishment. You want to see people who are approved, who definitely going to deliver on what they're promising. And it's just such a frustrating thing as well to deal with. So you can understand how there's so many layers that are more interesting and more important than Minecraft, than a game, basically. Something that Notch would never figured out, because that's all he could do, is he could just code a game. That's where his skills end, right? He's not a speaker. He's not trying to understand the deeper meaning. He's like, this is a good business opportunity. I done that. I sold the business. Congratulations, I'm successful. Well, you're not as successful as you think, because chasing money is not exactly a good idea. It's actually pretty weird, and I coin a term. It's bullshit chasing. It is not going to help you, basically. if you have $1 million and you have set up your future and you're secure, you're not gonna die out of starvation. Some people are chasing that. And even that is a little bit of a stretch, but because we are enslaved technically, most of us are slaves. Some people I can allow them chase that. But people who are chasing to become rich, how do you wrap your fucking head around that? Where do you get the idea of becoming rich? Ever? Who's stupid enough, right, to think that they're gonna be liberated by money instead of just, here you go. In some ways you're gonna be liberated, but you can't be liberated by spending money. You have to be liberated by having it permanently, basically, for your life, for the rest of your life. And then you live a fucking normal life. Chasing richness is no longer on your list. What you're supposed to be chasing is the understanding of relationships and love. And that's it. You will never understand love, basically. And the more you actually care about money, you're actually wasting your time, your precious time as a living being who could understand certain things, basically, and eventually then feel certain things, because that's how you can craft feelings, by understanding. You can do a short-term happiness, just like Ariana Grande. Just buy something that feels cool and does cool things, right? You will discover eventually, but it does cost a lot of money to do that. And you will learn, like, okay, well, I'm gonna go into the hamster wheel and I'm gonna work very hard and I'm gonna acquire all these things. I'm gonna acquire friends or whatever. Like, it gets pretty weird. People start bullshit chasing and stop thinking about other people. Obviously, is the first thing to do, right? Because we don't live in a society. We don't live surrounded by people who want to help each other or who are even honest. We don't want to be honest because we feel vulnerable, basically, being honest. It's frustrating to be honest. Nobody's honest. Even I myself feel half honest, even though I'm doing this specific work of, like, I understand what's going to happen in the future. Society is going to be built any time now. It's a ticking time bomb, and we're going to start having a society. But we don't have one. Especially because we start with a zero. We start with the idea of schools as if we need them. But right now we're so frustrated, we would probably destroy schools the first chance we would get that. If we get a chance, we would destroy schools, basically. And the moment schools are destroyed, jobs are destroyed. It's impossible to get a job without going through education. So what's the point? If you can just destroy schools, you destroy everything the society has to offer. Congratulations, it's game over. What's the point of building a society like this that's unsustainable and asks you to go through something that can be easily destroyed, first of all, but also doesn't actually offer any value? You go through school just to prove something to someone, but you're not actually learning anything. And believe me, you are not learning anything until you start taking a job and start taking a shit seriously, basically. Until you take... In school, you have minimal responsibilities. Very minimal. But once you take your own responsibilities, you'll realize how different that is from school activities, basically. It is not just taking a question and answering it based on what the book says or whatever, or what you memorized. Who cares anymore? You have to actually figure out, not just type in on the internet, what is the answer, oh my god, to this question. You have to just figure it out from within yourself, from what kind of experiences you have to get from life. You have to map out everything. And the moment you open your eyes to that, you realize you got nothing. It's a zero. People are not only enslaved, but they get nothing to start with. Because society cannot be created, why are we being forced into classes, basically? And why do people even talk to each other in classes at all, right? Why did we even communicate? Why was that not stopped at gunpoint, basically? It's like, stop talking. It's fucking worthless. Because eventually, nobody connects. Not a single person connects with each other. So it was worthless. We should stop doing worthless things then. But then at the same time, it's like so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Wow. Because the whole school system was worthless in the first place. So because it was... see, the idea is like, yeah, you have a class. You have classmates. You never talk to them, actually. They never gave you anything useful in life. And the school teachers never gave you anything useful in life. Never teach you anything. Why am I being so dramatic about it? Because the only thing that you got is like the negative experience that you can pummel and turn into dust and like analyze after you just completely grounded it down. Just some fine, harmful material, basically. Once you grinded it down, you can start analyzing it. But school is full of trauma. It's literally another way to create more trauma. It's great. You can get traumatized over internet as well. And you can explore that experience if you want. It's weird. Internet is not necessarily as useless as school because you take responsibility for how deep you want to go. And it's your responsibility now. I've said, taking responsibility is going to feel a whole different world. Even for me, jumping into this very interesting mini game and comparing myself to other YouTubers, all of a sudden, I've taken crazy responsibility. I have claimed some crazy shit, and I love it. Okay? That's the only way to do this. That's the only way to survive, basically, the learning process that you need to have for yourself. You need to have it, essentially. It's frustrating that people don't do it. And when they have the zero, they praise it so much, and they essentially exploit other people. It's like, well, you can die because you haven't gone through the pain that I've gone through. But I gone through pain much higher than that. Not only I let people shit on me because they think they're secure with their decisions when they actually have nothing in life, right? They have been employed for no reason. They appreciate education that has no meaning in their lives. And they probably have relationships that they don't know how they happen to create, right? Because they took no responsibilities. The best thing that they had probably done is like choose which job to take, basically find those opportunities. For me, that's a Mount Everest, basically. That's impossible to understand what opportunities are there for me to take. Holy fucking shit. I'm shitting my pants because I want opportunities to be delivered to me, not the other way around, right? I want to try a lot of things, not just throw myself somewhere and pretend that I like it, basically. Pretend that I just really, really want the job, basically, because that's the only way to get it, is to really, really want it. It's absolute bullshit, basically. So if I happen to be able to survive, not chasing bullshit, not chasing some crazy jobs, I'll take that anytime. Okay? That's what you have to understand. I'll take that anytime. Even if I'm in a brink of death, I'll take survival for another day anytime, if that means that I don't have to be chasing bullshit. Chasing what everyone else were doing for this whole life, which means nothing at all to me. And technically, you see a person like that, college graduate, and it's trash. You don't want to interact with a person like that anymore. It's not a person who's gonna really push. I mean, half of the people did not even go through college on this list. For fuck's sake, right? Or did not took it seriously, and now seeing this amazing opportunity, they became something to admire and to learn from, obviously. But obviously, at the same time, you still have to just go through what life has to offer. Even though it's a fucking 0 at school, and it's a fucking 0 with the college, I don't know. I haven't gone through it. Maybe you can have a better experience than a 0. Congratulations. But I don't know, man. Now, this the scariest thing ever. It's like, how do you survive life without losing a soul? That's another thing. Without getting scared of death and then losing a soul. Because your behaviors are constantly reinforcing that you're scared of death, and people can actually exploit that somehow. Can you imagine? The greatest fear ever is still irrational. Being afraid of dying is actually still irrational, and you still have to take certain choices, including coronavirus, that you have to prove to yourself that you're not afraid of dying. So, and you want to face the danger. You want to face something that you are not fully comfortable with, but you have courage within you to face the danger. Sometimes, when you're facing the danger like a car rushing into you, and you know what's going to happen next, you're going to slam into the car and fucking get every bone broken, basically. That's not courage, that's fucking stupidity. Right? But I think every illness can be negated, can be understood and overcome. The only problem that I have with the current pandemic, right, is that I'm stuck with my computer. That's my lifestyle. I can't remove social distancing even if I tried. Okay? I cannot be unhealthy even if I tried. It's impossible for me. I'm sorry. So, for me, nothing ever changed. Life was still going the same fucking way. Just going to a shop is now an annoying experience, which I don't like anymore. Like, why? Why do I have to suffer for this shit? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not bringing up diseases. I have been stuck in my home because I have been doing the right thing this whole fucking time, I suppose. Which is social distancing from all these fucking idiots anyways. Everyone's a fucking idiot right now. That's what the real disease is, and I don't know what diseases are. Nobody should just stand up and say like, I know what a disease is. Like, you don't have a fucking clue what a disease is because it's an invisible enemy. It's an enemy that you will never see or understand. And especially if you use gadgets, basically, microscope or whatever, it will not allow you to understand it because it's going to give you visual drugs to reinforce the belief of some kind of ideas that you have. Yeah, when we see a cup, when we see a tree, we understand what the idea is. But when we zoom in into bacteria world, the ideas become just completely destroyed. Just like we can zoom into planetary size ideas. Like, it's bullshit. We don't even know if our Earth is round. We don't know that. And probably it's not. So we have to just give up on trying to observe things that are impossible to observe and treat them completely differently. But that's the point. I'm really afraid that people will start realizing that a lot of opportunities that we took, that were presented to us, almost enforced into us, are bad. Are bad by default. We're just not going to get a good job if we're going to allow ourselves to take the minimum wage and not going to be frustrated about it. We should have a flexible wage of what we deserve, but we still have to somehow enforce that, that we get paid properly, right? As a normal human being for survival. And the only real enforcement that we're supposed to get is like basic income for everyone. For a good reason, but still basic income. And for me, like, yeah, games. If we unite all the games together, if we find a unifying game, you know, if Unity actually squeezes out the most perfect game ever, it's multiplayer, it's fun to grind and play together or whatever. If we can invent a game like that, maybe it will save the fucking world. Believe me, a game could have tremendous economy, a game could have tremendous ideas, and ability to bring people together with enough distance where we can't harm each other either. And that's it. And once people prove that they're intelligent, we're just gonna give them stuff. And that's it. And the game could also have their own currency, which would work as a currency, would work as a real life currency at that point. Because we're gonna be so attached to it and so connected, and we're gonna trust the game. And I can see that because I can see the fragments are all over the place right now. The fragments of good game design that works, that is useful, and RuneScape is being used as a prison currency. Crazy. You know? I go to prison and I get to smuggle RuneScape, and I'm gonna be a happy camper. At least. Crazy. Alright, so with all that tension, let's not forget, I'm glad to be ventilated and to get my anger out and explain how frustrated I am. I'm glad that YouTube exists. We can move on with that in mind. That I still have a direction in life. Without my laptop, my life would get so much worse so quickly. I'm not sure if I wanted to live anymore at that point. Like, I would just quickly give up. Without laptop, without internet. Like, if those things taken away from me right now, I'm so attached. I don't see another side of life that's good and appealing to me anymore. I'm not chasing anything else. And it's not like I'm addicted to this. I'm reliant on this thing. I'm leaning onto this thing as the only thing that I have left. It could be a mistake, but everyone else is doing that too, you know? They're leaning on YouTube, and I appreciate that. They exist and provide content that I can criticize. Just for self-entertainment, at least. And maybe it hurts my eyes a little bit too much right now. That I sit to screens day in and day out, just non-stop. That's the only drawback that I have. But otherwise, I'm like really satisfied with all the insights that you can gather and compile together. And I can't wait to... Wait, what? 1,000 points away from a defeat, technically. Because we're holding in first place, but not only that, we're holding a definite first place. Nothing can beat us. We don't have to go to round 9 and test our skills anymore. So our secret weapons are remaining secret, basically. I also added another team, however, which is a portion of my team, actually. I'm not exactly remembering her name, but she's from Fifth Harmony. That's why I just spelled it Narmony. It starts with Nar, I believe. And she's black. Oh my god, that's the first black girl, basically. Well, Beyonce and Rihanna are supposed to be black girls, but they didn't make it to the list, so that's the first one, technically. And there's H3 crew. I mean H2O. Fuck. I guess I'm tired now. But and then you have Victoria's crew. So from Ari, and then Ricky, or Kariba Hain, if you want to know hers, that you have detachment, basically. I'm gonna throw those 3 girls each in this theme. The only thing that it's missing right now, besides an A, oh boy, besides an A, it is missing a secret weapon. A guy, preferably, because I want every team to at least have one of the other gender, to not be completely 100% dominant gender of, not because equality or anything. It's just stupid if there is no guy to like overlook what the idea of the team is. Just like I have my own team, just full girls, great. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Girls are too OP right now, so I have to get the maximum value out of this until it gets nerfed, basically. Until I'm not that interested or something. Until I become a little bit gay. Well, sort of. The event is gonna come. I have a few events planned, but basically I'm gonna test boys versus girls and check if I can nerf or buff, or see like how do we balance things out. I'll take 5 best girls and 5 best guys and test them out against each other with 10% or 15% bias, basically, because my team is full girls, and girls in general, I'm a guy, basically. That's it, basically. So I will allow 15% bias, but other than that, it has to be balanced. I can't just allow domination of any kind, and right now it's pure domination. If you really squint your eyes really hard, it's pure domination. Besides Keanu Reeves being oh wait, it's still girls. It's still 2 girls behind him. knock knock, you know. It's a knock knock joke. You have to remember that. So why is that the case, right? Why internet itself is ran by porn and girls, basically. Literally, porn is kind of the strongest theme just because it just appeared out of nowhere. It's gonna get immediately nerfed. I don't like being 1,000 points ahead only. That means sudden death. That is very close. Obviously, even if they get ahead for a little while, it's not gonna count for like a week, 2 weeks. I can recover or whatever. But it's getting there, and it's terrifying now that I nerfed my team by taking a big portion of the credit, right? Now, Victorious as a sitcom, or H2O as a sitcom, doesn't give us full credit anymore for the team. That's kind of sad, but I can let that go. I can let this slide. I can move on, basically. The same way I might have to move on from Minecraft. Crazy, right? I can't believe that some people just can't do it. Just can't become normal people and just move on from these things as they see other people moving on. Like, what does it take? What are you so attached to anyways? Tell me, because I want to be inspired. That's the kind of crazy that I'm talking about. Like, why am I not being inspired by other people playing Minecraft right now? What is so fucking different from me and them? Why their actions are not shared and doesn't touch my fucking heart? Why YouTube itself is much more interesting than this tiny little shitty game called Minecraft that PewDiePie happens to play, but I don't give a fuck, okay? He loves playing memes. And technically, Minecraft is a meme now. A dead meme. Probably dead is another attribute that you have to have in order for PewDiePie to play the game. Okay? It's kind of a weird twist, basically, I would say. It's almost like in his dreams is dreaming about dead memes isn't like, is Minecraft dead yet? It's the craziest thing ever, dude. And it's like, the moment Minecraft got attention is like a little child of like, jumping up and down. Yes, I got attention. Wow. It's amazing. So excited. At least that part is exciting, right? Minecraft becoming popular again just because people pumped popularity into it by force at that point. It forced a lot of prominent people to actually play it. But now it's dead again. So what's now? What's gonna happen? How am I gonna get inspired? Because I have so much potential to share to the world. Let's see what happens. This is month in Minecraft. We're gonna continue on. I'm gonna give 3 bonus days because my laptop was torn apart. So it's gonna be 24th of next month when I'm gonna stop giving them credit. And if we reach 1,000 points, I promise we're gonna make a map. If we reach 2,000 points, I promise much more. I promise to actually work full month on my project, on my engine, and it's a lot bigger deal, guys. It's actually what I want to do, technically, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm lazy and not inspired. I feel like shit. And I'm already occupied. I love this a lot more. It's so much more interesting. But at the same time, it's not going to be interesting forever either. So I open-hearted. Anyone can just change my mind. Please. Also, let's not forget that I haven't finished. What am I going to do with these guys? And how they're going to be operated. What is going to be that? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to conjure up some kind of weird tokens that a team could hold, basically. An entire token. not necessarily another person at all anymore. I think we're looking at something that would inspire me to think about something. And just by thinking about it, that's a lot of credit. That's crazy. It could create its own world, basically. Its own set of ideas. It could be pretty cool. I'm giving myself 3 points for the speech. Let's see what happens next. I'm jumping back in. I'm sad because every single time I search the term Minecraft, nothing comes out of that. But I'm not sad that MatPat is still working on it. Still working on those theories. I hope they're juicy, man. Please. We don't want to lose hope completely and give it all away to Hytale or whatever other games are being created. Actually, it is pretty interesting to explore what other games like Minecraft have been created so far. That's important. I have seen crazy good things come out already. I'm pretty excited to some degree. I don't have much hopes because nobody actually understands that Minecraft is about map creation. It's literally Mario Map Maker. Like, how can you forget about it, you know? Everyone just keeps forgetting that the main point is to make maps. Please don't do that. Please don't do that, Hytale, at least. Please. I'm begging you. I'm also realizing my audio has been way too high. I'm scared now. What? I have to leave it that way now. I guess it's fine. Oh well. Yeah, the strangest thing is, like, normal Minecraft feels so fucking terrible, but every single memory that I have from Spawn the Creeper's Forge is brilliant. Just being able to relax and fish and then get level up and then fish faster or whatever, like, I don't care. That was fascinating. Destroying a tree and getting more and more materials each time, and then selling those materials, and then buying some upgrades. That was great. I would love to have that again. And even a more well designed than what I already had. I can do that, probably. But even just forcing myself to explore this game developer phase, basically, that I had in my life, going back to that phase, do I want that? Like, what is that? It was my identity. It's my prime identity. Is to be frustrated at what everyone else is doing, so I'm gonna do my own thing, basically. That's what it's about. That's what it's about to be game developer. You really have to be frustrated and exploring your own space, basically. And that's not exactly a good idea of an identity to chase. It's another layer of bullshit chasing, because essentially you're thinking, like, I'm gonna develop a good game, I'm gonna release it and get a lot of money, I'll get a success, and you just keep on bullshit chasing. I don't like that. And you can see how I immediately stopped, because even though I'm inventing all these great things, I'm not getting any attention. I'm not getting anything anywhere in anything. No recognition, no big deals, and I just have to stand here and rant about it, just to be able to breathe again. Of like, this is terrifying. I went really deep, and nothing came out of it. Do you understand how fucking disgusting that is? Do you want to suffer the same way? It's crazy. And I understand other people discover their own levels of suffering. Sure. What are you gonna do about it? It's one of those times, honestly. Because a lot of times you can just stop suffering. You can just stop it. Just stop trying, okay? Nobody wants you, basically. And you have to understand that internet is a very vicious place. And the creation of Minecraft, as selfless as that is, eventually will turn into a trap. Eventually, it's not going to be as useful and as interesting as you might think it is, right? Eventually, people will turn it into a tourist trap, into a children's trap. Whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be as important in your life as you might want it to be. But until that happens, for now, it's still the best game you can get. And if you happen to have played Spawn the Creeper's Forge, anything similar to it, like Skyrim. Skyrim is the closest as you're gonna get. And I encourage people to learn how to fucking play games first. If you really want me to release anything substantial, the only thing you have to do is download Skyrim and try to beat it in the hardest difficulty mode without dying. Try it. Fucking try it. Because I couldn't even level up to level 15 or something. Maybe I leveled up to 20 at max. It's so frustrating. At any point there's a trap or some bullshit just coming at you. A monster that you cannot defeat and you can't really outrun it easily, or it just comes out of nowhere and destroys you. A bear. A saber cat. They're fast and they're ruthless. Sometimes a spider is gonna kill you. But that's the fun of it. You have to learn how to fucking work around those problems, and eventually you get a grip on the game, you get the power level that you really need in order to survive finally. Like, this highest difficulty just really unleashed a completely next level experience, and I would say that experience was better than Spawn the Creeper's Forge. Creeper's Forge was a very relaxing experience, and it was high tier, basically. I'm happy for anyone who managed to get a copy of it. And go fuck yourself, because you're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it that way. My games are gonna be different or none at all, not gonna exist at all. You have to understand, it's a one-person project that has to be funded, and that's game over. Right? It's a game over. You have to also remember that society doesn't exist, and you have to work so hard to make it exist. That's the only time you're gonna actually benefit tremendously, right? Because a lot of things that you think are interesting will stop being interesting because you're gonna find something that is so much more powerful. And Minecraft might just rest in peace. Might not be that interesting or important anymore once we actually discover what is out there and what is available for us. Like, that could be much bigger than Minecraft at this point. And I'm sorry to say that I was chasing for Minecraft for a long time, for a game like that to exist, and I'm so happy that it does. But now we have to look at it completely differently. And so for the next 2 hours, we're gonna keep on trying to break it down. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to kill Minecraft, the entire spirit of it. Because I don't want to play it anymore. Like, I've exhausted everything. It feels so bad, and the only good experience was the one that I created. It's crazy. It really bothers me, honestly. I created a perfect experience. I captured what it's like to just be rewarded for everything, and you just want to have that, and you want to evolve in the world. You also want the world to be like a little map where you spawn, in the location that you spawn, And the further you go from that location, you're gonna explore darker and darker areas, basically. And that's what Spawn the Creeper's Forge also tried to do. I try to build like darker and darker areas to explore. But at some point, the problem became that it's inefficient. I would rather just create randomly generated terrain, just like Minecraft has, right? I would rather do that, but then I'm not supposed to mod things, so essentially I'm just spit out from AdventureCraft, and I have to figure out another way to do this thing. I was almost on the edge of actually going to the next level of Spawn the Creeper's Forge creation, trying to figure out what it would be like to automatically generate terrain. I actually was on that edge, on trying one more time and recreating the game. That's crazy to me that I was so close in doing so, because that would be great. I would like that, but I also wouldn't, because there's so much more to the game. Like exploring this, I don't want to do this alone. That's the biggest part of it. I want other people to also be educated what it's like to build games, right? And if a lot of people just are excited for no good reason of an upcoming game, like you don't want just fucking fanboys fucking shitting on your experience as a game builder, right? You want them to also be capable of building maps with you, right? As you bring them tools and you allow them to work as well alongside with you as you improve as well. Like that's what you want. You want other people to learn what it's like to actually build a good map. I want to see that from other people now. I don't think I played a single good map that I'm really fascinated about. So unless that happens, Minecraft is dead to me. But I'm gonna give them an example, and that's the main thing that I want to get to. That milestone, basically. 1,000 points. I'm giving you a perfect map, basically. And if you can replicate that map, if you can even beat it, maybe, which you never will be able to do that. Never. Let's put the nail in the coffin. I can beat Minecraft with a map that's created inside of it, because Minecraft is already broken. You can't really design a good map just using command blocks. It's just kind of fucking bullshit. Command blocks are shit. It's one line block. Just not even a script block, nothing. It's just one line for a block. Terrifying. I'll take it. It's the best you got. Like the funny part is that Mojang actually released a similar game that teaches programming, and it has way more advanced mechanics than a command block did. So it frustrated me so badly. Or visual programming itself is like the juice that you want to get as a programmer. To learn visual programming, to learn a programming language that makes sense for once. And I really want it. I almost like accidentally invented that, where I'm like, wait, variables can be easily modified. So what's the point? In games, and you can choose how. Visually, basically. It's crazy. And you can probably improve that as well. It's almost like every block turns into a calculator with all the variables available as well. You just type in the name of the variable and I don't know, dude. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool things that you can do. Visual programming, but let's just do a map that beats Minecraft. It's unbelievable, right? One map. all mods step aside. No need for that. That's the first thing that would normally happen. It's like you have to forget about modding your game. Why does that not make sense? It feels like cheating immediately, right? And it feels like you're just trying to augment your reality at that point. It's like, we don't have phones just to augment our reality, right? To upgrade our lives somehow. We usually use our phones to play some shitty mini games and watch what other people are doing. So it's a completely different use than you would actually think phones are supposed to be used for. Supposed to modify your life? Well, no. The same way you shouldn't really modify your games either. With anything. You should just move on and explore other games and how they solved their problems, and you have to appreciate the developers, because the moment you start appreciating multiple developers, the only reason why AdventureCraft is kind of like an exception to that is because the developer has took Minecraft and created its own game. AdventureCraft was its own game and should have been that way. They should have just stolen the fucking source code and ran with it. And they could have easily killed Minecraft at that point. AdventureCraft could have just stabbed Minecraft in the guts, man. Seriously. It has a sprite of a sword. So an icon, introductory icon like everyone else, except AdventureCraft had a sword, so we can stab Minecraft. That's what it was. Deal with it. It's so annoying to just come back and talk about the same thing over and over again, but as we mature, we have to understand that we don't actually move on away from things that seems childish or seems stupid, right? Like Grey Day just came out with his stupid fucking video saying that this drama is just fucking stupid, you know? It could have been so much better, that YouTube could have evolved for a much better drama right now. It's technically not drama. It's H3H3 shouting out at Keemstar that he has made mistakes. And that's it. Keemstar has no way to fight back. Okay? Zero chance to fight back against all these. A nuclear weapon basically being detonated. It just shows how much effort Ethan has put into his video, and I watched it all, and that's all it takes. What it takes is just, you know, let's say Shane Dawson level documentary that is actually better than that. Because Shane Dawson would just shit around the subject and like create like a more of a reality show, and it's not really drama. He didn't really attack Jake Paul either. Actually allowed him to justify his existence on YouTube, which he didn't. Jake Paul actually self-destructed on his documentary, so that's still successful for Shane, and they do it in different ways. But the way H3H3 did it is like, there's no chance for Keemstar to even have a fair fight. It's not drama. It's just a bomb dropped. So Grey Day's expectations are a little bit bullshit. Except I forgot what I was talking about. I fucking hate it. Yeah, despite all of this, we have AdventureCraft stab Minecraft in the back and hope it dies finally. Just rest in peace and scatter all those fucking children away from it, so they would do something else for once. Like, I get it. It's a really, really exciting game. Really, really exciting. But if you overdose on Minecraft, it gets a little bit crazy. Because you're missing out, right? There's so many games out there. There's so many experiences that you can have. And just sitting on one experience, you won't understand what. Like, the first thing I recommend you to play after you beat Skyrim, which will take forever to do, but if you have done that, play Motherlode, play any RPG really, definitely play RuneScape, Guild Wars, a few MMORPGs, why not? But just keep on a lookout on RPGs, please. Those gonna sink in your time. If you haven't like played Hearthstone already, like what are you thinking? There's so much to do, and definitely if you just you can just find PewDiePie playing something, or find game reviewers playing something that you might like. Like, the possibilities are endless. Also, Honey Pop, play that. The new one is gonna get released anytime now. I'm praying for it, okay? I'm just gonna do a search just now, just so I could get more news, basically. More news about this thing. It's annoying that it's super sexual, okay, I get it. But the idea is, it introduced personalities, basically, and that's it. Double dating is a little bit over-sexualized. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be as amazing as... so you have the delay, but it's annoying. It's really annoying. I'm gonna double check and give you the news. Another thing that frustrates me is like, yeah, Honey Pop is like not popping. It's so annoying though. It's one of those times, basically. A perfect introduction to hentai, basically, and it just falls flat. I'm sure other people are gonna start copying and creating good versions of it. I can't wait. It should appear on the phone anytime now as well. The phone is where it's at right now. But the whole thing is frustrating. It's like Windows against apps. Just why can't apps appear on the computer as well? Why can't these two operating systems merge into one each other? Like, what's going on here? It's kind of frustrating. Everything is frustrating in the technology world, believe me. I'm sure at some point the merge is gonna start happening as well. There's a lot of things that are supposed to start happening anytime now. And that's why it's so difficult. We have to really figure out what's the most important. So that is important to explore now. Realizing that not a lot of projects can actually survive the test of time and can be updated or whatever developers choose to do with it. Like sometimes it's just a huge failure and a flop. And I hate to keep on bringing this up of like why people can't just update games. What's wrong with that? The craziest part is like every time Bethesda updates their game, they allow your old characters to keep all the levels and all the equipment and all the shit, you know, that you accumulate over a long period of time. But every single time they release a new game, well, you have to do it all over again. So it's kind of a little bit of self-contradiction. A little bit. let's say a little bit, just because every single time you expect new technology to take place and like new graphics, so you just let that slide, right? It's kind of still frustrating every single time. But the moment graphics stopped improving, then I'll be like, now you gotta start improving your fucking gameplay for once. But I think Skyrim is a perfect example of a perfect game. You don't need graphics anymore. Just fucking stop and think for once. I mean, seriously. It's so frustrating sometimes. People doing things or not realizing things or not talking about things. Like, I don't even know. Let's just move on. Explore it once I have a proper opinion. I guess every now and then I'm just gonna drop one of those insights or findings about my personality system and how odd sometimes it gets. So Lena showed up with Satellite at 2010 Eurovision. Someone else showed up with Satellite, but you have to like look at her face and be like, that is definitely fucking vampire chick right there. Why such a long face? And pale face too, it's kind of fucking weird. And why this fucking weird smile as well? And why is it about giving sweet things for a relationship? There is some psychology, basically, that you can feel in the song. It's not about, oh, I'm such a sweet person, I'm just giving sweet things. It's not me, basically. So it immediately is obvious which personality she has at that case. Is she really a sweet person, or she just looks sweet? as a cover-up, basically. So, with that in mind, there's one more person who did Satellite. Oh shit. So basically it means that Satellite is a wind element thing, basically. That's what it means. It's weird. If you're trying to compare these two songs, even though Lena actually won the Eurovision at that point, Rebecca just is better person, basically. Look at his teddy bear face. How can you fucking say it's a bad person anymore? You accept this face though. That one's not a teddy bear face. That one is fucking weird, man. It's like enabled child face. Too much joy. Fuck this shit. Look at this teddy bear face. I mean, if you actually go through the first lines that they present, Rebecca is like, the ceilings start to break, I make the same mistakes, I sacrifice myself for someone else, and it's like Lena is doing the sacrifice of self at her song. So it's literally Rebecca is next level just by definition. If she defines this as a mistake, basically. And because Lena doesn't actually come back with a more popular song, or as popular, or just continue her career because I don't give a fuck about this person, well, that's game over, actually. It's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, the funny part is like PewDiePie goes to Japan, and now like, when are you gonna live stream? You're gonna live stream too late or too early. It's just ridiculous. It's too early for the Europe and too late for Americans. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? maybe just for the record, there is another way to look at this. And it's like, if you have a personality, so you have wind and water, you can be appealing to earth or to water personalities. If you say you're a slave and you're gonna do anything for them, you're gonna look pretty and stuff, you're probably gonna appeal to water personalities and not me, perhaps. Because I like pretty people, but I don't like when they actually trying too hard. And I mean, Rebecca is not actually perfect. She loves makeup too much. I hope I already cleared that up. But I don't care. It could just be a hobby, you know. It could be just exploration until you realize it sucks, just like programming for me. But the way she sings, the way she presents herself, actually is appealing to me, which is a higher level purpose, not necessarily to be a slave, because every single time you want to be a slave, you accidentally appeal to these people who want you to be weak, so they would look better next to you, right? If you actually become an underdog to someone just because you have a shittier personality than them, in comparison, in a relationship, all that stuff, if you happen to be able to do that, to give up your element, like that's the most humble way to live, really. That's the most highest level of life, because you're generating enough of yourself to be able to give that away to someone. Obviously, that's not love. That is just a relationship that highlights your effort, basically. But that's the whole difference, right? As much as you try to be a slave, it's still not full of effort and full of like high tier strategy on how to survive. It is more like, I do great things and you have to appreciate those great things, asshole. And it's not always easy to do that, especially if those things are in the realm of feelings. I can't actually appreciate them. My personality doesn't hold feelings that valuable yet, so I'm sorry. It's impossible. When I was watching H2O, and even Victorious has the same relationship where a person is highlighted. So you have what, Jade? Yeah, Jade. I don't even know the guy's name actually. It's Beck. Okay, but it's really fucking stupid name. But bear with me. So Jade is actually a wind person, and Beck is Earth, and Jade is automatically highlighted. I mean, every girl is highlighted in Victorious because that's a sitcom, and every girl is just gets to rule it, basically. It's a girl's world in the first place. And then you have H2O, which is another sitcom that I highlighted, and guess what? It's the same thing happening. Every single mermaid ends up with a guy that, like Ricky ends up with a fire person. Okay, Bella is not ending up with a fire person though, even though she's also Earth. So the new girl is actually Earth personality, is actually my personality, which is very sweet because it reinforces the idea that Ricky just kind of owns the sitcom, basically. So that's nice. I love it. That's why she's supposed to be in my team. And also she now owns a restaurant as well. Like, that's a big deal. She's now owning quite a huge chunk of what made the last two seasons, basically season 1 and season 2. A lot of action has been going on in this juice cafe or whatever. And I'm sure you can actually love anyone. For that matter, it's kind of a free choice. You don't have to pick someone who appreciates you or who plays by your rules, so to speak, or plays into your game, into your traps. You can choose any person because there is also compatibility personalities, basically two compatible personalities. So you just slide into that slot, change yourself a little bit, and it's actually easier than you think now. Now I'm scratching my head. I'm like, yeah, that would be so fucking easy because the way you actually express compatibility is when you exchange and you trade with another person, and eventually you trade yourself into this position where you have to change because you got something very valuable that just is life changing. You're making these trades and it actually offers you to adapt to life changing trades. And that's what love is, kind of a more technical side of that, right? Where you get so many valuable things that you need to become as compatible as possible with that other person. And being able to change yourself and finally like achieve a higher level of a personality, because you never really had to change your personality before. You always thought like you're the best version of yourself and that's what you're trying to achieve. But when you actually find someone you want to be compatible with, it's a completely different challenge at that point. But most of the time, it is going to be one of those things where probably men actually get to discover what love is, and women get to receive it, so to speak. And it is still going to be generic in some ways, just like you have a straight relationship, which is generic for a good reason, okay? Gay relationships, a little bit lower tier, I'm just gonna say it. Every now and then, you know? Just because something is possible doesn't mean it's uh, necessarily done that way, or even has to be done that way, because it almost like it requires a special kind of scarcity of resources for stupid things to happen, basically. Stupid, unordinary things to happen. It literally requires scarcity. So if you don't have women in your life, well, you're probably gonna become gay eventually. Like it's almost inevitable. So that's what I mean. But the same thing applies to the relationships. Uh, if there is that specific person that is compatible to you, it's a weird way. Like it's better to actually explain with rock paper scissors, as long as there are four actual elements. So and then describe it as a stronger force and a weaker force. So women would naturally be weaker force, and you're going to be stronger force, and as a man, unless there is scarcity. That's what I'm talking about. There's no paper. Okay, then you can't be scissors with a relationship with paper. You have to pick a rock, as sad as it is, and deal with it. A woman for a rock, yes. A dominating force. And you have to adapt with that. But that's only because of scarcity and not because of uh, it's natural to do or whatever. But the way that I described love, there's also a compatible version. You don't just have to become stay scissors and stay rock, because if there's a fourth element, there are always going to be two elements that don't counter each other, right? Technically, yeah, you can be both rocks, basically. Technically, it's still possible on rock, paper, scissors formation to not be countered, but I'm saying that you also you can be countered, and you get to trade different resources. That's a different thing from being double rock. So rock paper scissors sucks. You need 4 elements, and they better fucking change that game as quickly as possible. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Or upgrade, uh, meaning that the previous version still exists, basically. I will literally squeeze as often as possible uh, the idea that there are 4 elements and how they interact. I would just at least have this game all over the place, or this concept all over the place. I mean, it kind of is. Pokemon are using a similar concept of one thing being more effective than the other, but I think it's actually a very symmetric, very simple system, and you don't have to fucking scratch your head around it. You don't scratch your head every single time you have to fucking breathe. And you have to understand that a lot of systems that are very, very deep and powerful, they're also very simple and symmetric and very easy to actually uncover. And the reason why I uncovered it is just because I tried. It's just that fucking simple. I actually tried. And a lot of people don't. It's almost like this whole show, this whole discovery has led me into making this game in the first place, because now I'm interested in other people's personalities all of a sudden. Now I can actually identify them, and other people can't. Other people are still living a clueless life and have no idea whether they're compatible with other people or not. They just read horoscopes and shit. I would say it's horoscope, you know? It's a fear scope, basically. You're being scoped out of fear of not knowing what the fuck is going on. And I love it. I'll get to troll people in so many ways when I become popular. You can't even imagine anymore. Until they pick up on my fucking strategies and actually apply it. But it's not going to be easy. See, that's the scary part. Is just like old people can't fully handle technology. A lot of people will not be able to fully handle my way of thinking, anyways. So it's basically good to be yourself and feel like you're on top of the world, at least in your category of your being yourself. Like, that's nice, because being yourself doesn't always mean that you're just being just yourself. You're actually representing something most of the time. It depends on effort, yet again. You can't just be yourself and be like, but I'm taking 0 responsibilities for anything. The moment you pick up a responsibility, you are representing something. So, congratulations if you succeed, obviously. And success comes from effort. So here's your entire equation. I should write everything down and organize it, but fuck that for now. You're lucky. You're actually lucky that you're not seeing me doing a lot of things on the screen right now. Because the deeper I go into the fucking Matrix, the more weaponized I become, basically. The more ready for fucking creating the apocalypse or creating a second wave of coronavirus, basically. With my fucking sheer hands and using the power of internet. It's so easy. You just make people outraged and they're like, but what is this virus thing? And they get all sick and tired and bullshit. Eat shit. That's if this coronavirus is not fake, then the next one is gonna be fake. That's the way you have to fucking see it. It's gonna be faker and faker until people realize, wow, it's actually me that's the problem and not the environment. You know, like, I'm sure that's gonna happen at some point. And that's what frustrates me so fucking much. This is the start of the story, and I already want to fucking flip the book over and burn it. Because I know how this ends. Fucking stop. Yes, so just one more heads up. I'm gonna turn it into a token. Let me know. If there is anything going on in the world that is just doing just as much good effort as I am doing, because I hate knowing only myself and being like, I am creating this cool Minecraft map. I want to know what else is going on. I want to fucking have friends in the first place, so I can't possibly be popular, because every single time I'm gonna demand people to fucking do stuff, and they will just scatter. And as long as they're scattering, just scared of doing this shit, eventually something bad will happen in their lives, and they will realize I was actually asking them for a very important thing, which means what I'm asking is just to let me know what other people are doing, what is relevant, okay? What should inspire me? What have you played that has been good? Just those little few things you have to let me know. Otherwise, you're a terrible person, basically. You're also a terrible person if you don't keep the conversation going and let me tell you what you're supposed to do for me if you actually respect me. Because you have to respect first if I happen to be a creator and I happen to be a fan. If you want to be a creator level, you also have to try and fish my respect for yourself. And maybe we're gonna become friends. And if we're not, we're certainly competition to each other. Because now we're on the same level above normal people. And if we're not working together, we're working against each other. It's just a vicious cycle of what happens when you tear up. But I teared up all the way to the top, right? I'm actually a person that goes against everyone else just straight up, and somehow survived long enough to say that even. It's crazy. I go against everyone else because I couldn't make friends as long as I was climbing the tiers, and I still don't understand how people make it. It's more like a job to them than actual relationship. So yeah, and maybe they live in a place where there's more opportunities than here. Certainly, believe me, it's almost certain that it is, because the moment I travel to UK, there is a potential possibility to be really successful just doing a shitty job, which should blow your mind immediately, because what would happen if you get actually better job and a better place to stay, because you don't have to pay your shitty rent, because rent just completely obliterates your life. So once you set things up just perfectly, your life becomes actually perfect in that position. But technically it's just kind of a dream. You have to be lucky to get it. While now coming back home, like, wait, there's nothing going on. We have this place. We don't have to pay anything. Just gonna stay in the basement, right in there. And guess what? As long as I'm happy, joke's on you, you know. This is why whenever you say, oh, you're staying in your mother's basement or whatever, it's not actually a good thing to throw at someone when you're like not happier than that other person. You still have to probe happiness first. If you don't do that, you're gonna automatically lose. Let's do that. Are you happy? Or let's just say happy basement. There you go. It's happy base. Maybe I am still happy living in the basement, and joke's on you, because happiness is one of those most difficult things to buy. It's almost impossible to buy happiness. Almost impossible. It's the same relationship with bullshit chasing, is when you realize after you spend a bunch of money, you're gonna be very unhappy, realizing how much money you've spent and it's all have been down to drain, and it's wasted, and you actually, by having money even, and not being able to spend because you will know you will not get happiness out of it, it also will make you unhappy. Just, you will realize, after becoming rich, after you have chased fucking that the first million basically, that you realize that by not being able to spend it as easy as you thought you would be able to and achieve happiness, it will fucking destroy your life. Being rich will destroy your life, basically. That's how simple it's gonna get. Yes, once you tone down the panic mode, you can actually appreciate that you have set up for your future. But even existing itself is difficult. You have to not be bored. You have to be somewhat respected and not be trashed with hatred, right? You have to survive emotionally and logically survive and all those fucking things that could happen in your life that could completely destroy you. You have to avoid them. And it's not about money at all. Money is like 1/4 of those things, technically, and money is more like a trust mechanism for other people to give you things. So essentially, money could be taken away from you just as easily. It's another level of, fear, because if you have earned money in a shitty way, chances are you're gonna lose it eventually. Someone is gonna fucking trap you one way or the other. There's a whole future ahead of you, and that sucks. At any point, a virus could happen that just shakes up society in a special way, and you don't know what's happening because the dice get to roll again, and all of a sudden it lands on you losing everything. Like, it's crazy. That's what the game we're playing right now. Certainly, if you're just careful enough, but it's still gonna fucking emotionally manipulate you. It's still gonna try and take that money away from you, because a lot of people are gonna be like more and more vigilant about it. They're gonna smell that richness out of you, and you're gonna hate yourself even more because of that. There's so many layers to it. It's unbelievable how stupid people are if they're actually chasing money for any reason whatsoever. Please don't. It's a trap. We have to help each other, and that's the only fucking way we can actually survive and stay sane, basically. Believe me. Oh, mental illness is on the rise? I wonder why. Please. Oh, you can actually afford drugs? Oh my god, that's so beautiful. Alright, let's see this. One thing that I wanted to highlight one more time, and I'm gonna do it like, I will pull out results right now. It's gonna be, the next event is gonna be boys versus girls, because I have no idea how to evaluate these people. Maybe I should enjoy guy material a lot more, but I might not even be diving into the guy's world as deep as I would like to. There's a lot of material that I'm not actually even touching. Or technically, like, I'm not watching Alex Jones, but who are the most powerful, or movie stars, mostly guys, right? Because if you have basically singers women and movie stars guys, so I suppose also you have the late night shows with guys, I suppose. MatPat highlighted that before I did, so that's a little bit of credit for him. Oh wait, credit for me because he's not a leader of his team yet. I'm sorry, dude. Anyways, so I'll need to research a lot deeper, but I'm gonna pull out 5 best guys and girls basically, and see what comes out of it. One thing I'm seeing immediately is that we holding first places, right? So we're gonna have a bunch of girls that actually show up for my team. I will ditch that because it's not actually, that's another level of bias technically. Or with that out of the way, but still I can get 10% bias now. I don't have to do it 15%. Now my team has nothing to do with this contest technically. And these are higher tier values, so they're probably multiplyable by 2 basically. So these come from aces, I mean jokers, and not let's say creators, so business people. That's what we're talking about. Alright, so it turns out the event is obsolete. We have decent people representing male, and then females are kind of 10% stronger, right? 10%, a lot stronger technically, but it's still just 11. It's 20%, I suppose. 20%. Not. I mean, if you compare these ones, like this is 10%. These ones are a little bit more, but it seems like 10% anyways. Like Sniper was able to actually pull off quite a high score, and the way that I see this one is like 1.5. These ones are 2, so each one adds 50% basically bonus, and basically this one is the second rank Joker, so they have a little nerf basically. But in general, I don't see like the reason to actually do the event when it's so blatantly obvious that girls are gonna get a lot of points, but only because each girl is kind of different and wants to be relevant so badly. Then they'll be relevant for a split second and then go away. Really go away very, very deep, and won't be able to actually come back and establish a career because of that. That's pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Meaning that the girls that I have in my team are different. They have established themselves, and I can't get rid of them anymore. And that's how crazy it is. It's psycho girlfriends, oh my god. Whew. I almost like want to like, how did this happen? moment where even though it's imaginary, it has such an impact in my life that it's real now. It's like, okay, I'll take that. What is the score again? So we're actually not going to do the event. I'm still going to be curious in some ways, so the event sort of is delayed instead of not being done. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna elect a president, basically. It's cool because it's almost just like a little token that I should have talked about and not actually do an actual event. Most of these things are just tokens, I assume. Even boys versus girls is almost like a token, that just the thing that I'm supposed to talk about. Even Minecraft is a meme, is a little fucking token that nobody should care about. I hope Minecraft Dungeons turns into something decent, because Mojang has a trend of like updating their games. That's a pretty big deal, and they actually made a good game. I actually think it's not terrible. I mean, it seems very fun and strategic, sort of. There's a lot of things to explore, basically, and if it has replayability, I will find a way to make it difficult for myself or a long-lasting for myself. I can't wait, but I'm not gonna buy it until I'm a happy camper, basically, you know? I know what I'm being offered, and I know that I actually can pay for it, and neither of those things are true. So you have to wait, basically. I was offered GTA 5 for free, guys. For free. What is gonna top that offer, please? Nothing's gonna top that offer. I have to fucking waste time on GTA right now, especially now that I got my laptop back. Think about that for a second. So election event is where you realize that electing a president is your personal responsibility and anyone can be your president. It's just like finding your shelter. It's the same thing, except this is much more important because everyone kind of needs to have a president, just like everyone needs to have a shelter. Meaning that they have to have a highest tier representative for themselves, regardless of where you are in life. If you want to be fully established, you have to have a huge person on top of you that represents your ideas and believes and you're happy for him. Otherwise, what are you doing with your life? It's one of those moments. So I'm sure people have been split apart and they don't like the election that happened or is happening right now in 2020. Congratulations. It has nothing to do with you. It's just a simulation. Most of the things that you're actually experiencing right now are fake and do not actually impact your life. What you need as a president is almost like a need for a life coach. You need someone to look up to and to see what changes in your life you're supposed to take as, trending piece, basically. What memes can you adopt from the person who lives every meme ever because that's their job. That's their responsibility. They took a lot of responsibilities and now they have to live memeful life. And you have to learn from those things, I suppose. That's why celebrities have popular lives. Like, their lives are exciting all the time. They're doing a lot of things. They're doing a lot of work. And they have a lot of people who look up to them and sort of force them to work just because they're sort of idols, presidents for them. It's a big deal. And if someone heavily influences what kind of decisions you make and how you live your life, that's a big deal, right? And if you hate an actual president and you're trying to figure out what does it all mean, well, it does mean that the president somehow has a lot of power, but it's all a simulation. Government doesn't actually operate properly, so it's going to be destroyed. A lot of things basically are simulations if you think about it throughout history, like 2,000 years simulation. Congratulations, guys. Obviously, humanity has been awake for longer than that. Let's hope not. 5,000 years? Is that what we're talking about? I have no idea anymore. We're messed up. Now we're messed up. Because the only clock that you can actually find that's still accurate is on top of this chain. I guess it's food chain. But it's a meme chain, basically. It's a meme train. This is the only accurate fucking clock that you're gonna find because it's not based on how many days has passed, but how much progress has passed. Because what you actually should be worried about is that you're gonna sleep when everyone else is working very hard, right? You're gonna sleep when the most progress is being done, and you will take no credit when you sleep. And you wake up in a world that gives you no fucks, basically. Just constantly gives you fuck you, get out of here. You're not a part of our society. Blah, blah, blah. You don't want to fucking do that. You want to know how this clock works and not the clock that we actually have. That just... Even your age is different because people are closer to the deaths in different distances, right? And even age doesn't actually describe much at all sometimes of how much progress people did. Like, you can't do that. The real deal is the tier list that I've given you, right? Which tier you belong to and how fast you got there is important. Your age is important in the conclusion of like how much you achieved at the same time. But even what you have achieved is not stored in money, it's stored within you. It's like if you go to an isolation room, you're capable of conjuring so many things basically out of nothing. It's literally the currency of nothingness, is how you can treat nothingness and turn that into something that you can present yourself with, right? That's the scary part. Obviously, I wouldn't start with nothing, because you have reality. If you want to really measure a person, you give them the most valuable things that they consider most valuable, you know, what they have attached in reality. So also, food is like, this is becoming a pretty interesting experiment that I'm talking about. So let's just call it isolation experiment. This should be one of those Mr. Beast challenges, epic Mr. Beast challenges, of like asking a person what they actually need, and even before they go into the isolation, because after the things are going to get a lot more expensive, but they still have the chance to, you know, spend the money that they will win, basically, that sort of style, perhaps. And the money, the stuff gets more expensive, but it's about winning, right? It's about beating a lot of other people most of the time. That's the challenge, is being the best, being actually relevant when you complete the challenge. So the challenge would be to learn how to be in isolation, and not because isolation is a meme somehow. I guess someone figured out how to force isolation to be a meme now. Like, that's amazing. We didn't have that one before. Okay, we only had World War III, which was a meme at the start of the year. So Chinese probably like, well, this is a shitty meme. We have to start isolation meme. That's congratulations, Chinese. You fucking did it. We have it. Now we just need isolation experiment that will allow us to understand personalities and how they adapt differently, but still supposed to survive the same amount of time. But it's not about survival. It's about presentation, right? It's about being interesting. That's a part of Mr. Beast, you know, challenge. It's not just completing the challenge, but how do you do that? You know, whether your methods are actually interesting, or you just trying very hard to be interesting to the camera that observes you or whatever. Like, there's a lot of strategies that could work out potentially, right? So yeah, it's a very interesting discussion of how the actual clock works, how the actual your body clock works. That's also kind of interesting. I mean, these are 4 tiers basically, right? And you will feel time a different way each time you go forward. A person who has a daily life, basically daily concerns, they will experience a lot of changes in their life constantly, and they won't be able to stop those changes or relax sometimes, and they have to keep on going forward. But at the same time, it is a cyclical thing anyways. So they will find kind of relaxation in absolute chaos at the same time. It's like people like warriors, soldiers, just going out into war. Crazy. How can you be mindful of what you're doing anymore? How can you survive and exist in the way that you are when you are embracing war? But like, that's what you have to adapt. And that's a huge leap as well, to become a soldier all of a sudden. Like, that's a huge, being drafted at any time, but that's where you live. You have no resistance to outside control. of any kind. You need the job, you get the job. You need to go to war, you go to war. You need to fucking tell your friend to fuck off, you gotta go tell your friend to fuck off. There are no choices, man. You have to be ruled by the law of whatever the day has to offer, basically. And it's up to you to wake up every day and just, it's a clean slate of challenges, completely new, completely fresh. But people who are higher up, they actually experience less change in life because they're sort of almost traumatized by change in the first place. That's what got them there in the first place. There's so much trauma. They're so traumatized by all this bullshit. And for me, like, even smallest changes in my life, like, completely destroyed me. I mean, I don't actually live day to day. I don't see it that way anymore. So that's a completely different life for me that I'm trying to establish, basically, to run away from this. But now I'm realizing that by running away, I'm becoming, like, somehow more relevant to other people. That's all that there is, right? Being elected as a president is about being relevant to other people, being very, very interesting for some weird reasons. And you can see how boredom, or there are these 4 major problems. I want to look them up because I actually forgot, and I always bring those up from now on too many times. So we have second season, and we have a stalemate. Basic problems. They're very well put together, but I need to bring them back up. And probably put them in a token if possible. But for now, they're just gonna be here. That's not okay, dude. Okay. That's so fucking bad. What's gonna happen when I upload? Okay, I guess I'll take that. Whatever, it seems pretty clean. So, you need to be able to generate heat. It's simple as that. Just heat. That's what money is. Literally, the definition of heat. You don't believe me? Well, look, what's gonna happen when you're gonna stop doing things? Right? You can't. You have to have a job, right? The only people who don't have to do things are the ones who have already burned themselves, or got lucky because they live in a special kind of family that is set on fire constantly. You don't fucking see rich people in their families not being completely out of their minds, basically, completely frozen. They have to do a lot of things, and they have to look rich at the same time. It's one of those weird responsibilities. But that's the definition of money that I'm just realizing, right? Like, wait, that's the consequence. So money is fire? Wow, okay. And I hate money so much because of that. That makes sense, by the way. It all makes sense until it doesn't. Should I still hate money? Absolutely. I'm simply hating on the rest of the clock until it gives me this one. Now I'm concerned, right? Now I'm like, wow, you're gonna reward me? You're gonna turn me into a star? Like, why? And life sort of threw me off after I did started feeling like I'm somehow relevant all of a sudden, just because I tried almost. What was going on? I don't even know. But I'm always referring to that special event that happened in the UK in the end of everything. Like, some crazy shit started happening. And I almost, like, I missed it. I missed it, and I created this whole thing, basically. Somewhat inspired by this event. That event was crazy. And I'm still not sure how I'm supposed to feel about this tier 3, right? There's a lot of things happening here as well that are beneficial to me. knocking out government is gonna be such a big benefit. Well, I don't want to harm anything. It's again one of those changes that I don't want to fucking make and see even. The scariest thing is when the clock hits 12 o'clock basically. When the calendar becomes obsolete and you have to change anyways. And there's no escape. You have to change anyways. This is too deep for me. Everything is so deep. I can't explain everything, and I'm like trying to explain everything. Everything. I can't fucking explain fast enough. That's how fucking crazy life is. But yeah, okay, let's say I was triggered and money is truly fire and it's like super self-explanatory. You have to work for it, and work is usually pretty hard. And it's almost like if you really take it for what it is, work is nothing but just moving boxes from one place to the other, and you're just burning your fucking body to get shit done, basically. It's literally just making other people's dreams come true, but all what that takes is you taking one thing that exists in the universe and bringing it closer to the people who actually want that thing. And that's what money is supposed to do, right? But first you have to be in the customer service, right? In order to be able to earn money and then be on the receiving end of the things that you want. And technically, neither of these energies, which are four energies, four elements, yet again, it's just a repetitive pattern over and over again, and I just keep repeating the same pattern, and it keeps on working, and I'm like, what the fuck, please stop, you know? Please make things more interesting, right? And I just gave up, right? It just is the most beautiful thing when you actually give up and stop thinking about it and just repeat the same pattern now. Because it stopped not working. It works flawlessly, 100%. If someone can break this faster than their own arms and entire body, themselves basically breaking entire body, they could probably do that faster than break this down. Like you have to scratch your head, right? If you can break yourself faster than this, maybe there's nothing wrong with what I'm talking about, and you have to learn about it. So boredom. Not sure why I put Y, and it's staring me down actually. And I know I highlighted the W as well. And the high as well. Boredom. Well, that's another thing that you have to defeat. And money, just like it's an energy, thing that fixes boredom, you can define it as anti-boredom. It doesn't matter. You can call it fun, but it will not actually define itself very clearly. So I just say anti-boredom, something that fixes the most annoying thing of not knowing what to do. And you do anything, literally, it's an earth energy, right? You create anything that eventually burns if it has to, right? It's still valuable because at any point it can turn into either a valuable thing that other people want and the money will get it for them eventually, or it just simply burns. You can simply eat it, consume it in some kind of way. It's like technology. At worst, right? A permanent solution to your problems sometimes. That's what technology is, by the way, right? Kind of permanent solution. It's pretty cool. But normally, that's a scary thing to think about. How did we manage to create something that's permanent solution? That makes no fucking sense, right? But it kind of does because reality is bendable. Congratulations. You just figured it out, you know? Okay, being alone. It's different from boredom. It's inability to actually access other things that's relationship based and not money based. Because there are two things, right? The government controls relationships, business controls money. There are two things that are controlled by these big entities, and the other two things are controlled by very, very talented people, okay? That are not necessarily organized, and that's what makes it so difficult to actually get it, right? Money is controlled by an organized entity, so it's not going to give you money, basically. You literally have to organize yourself, or yourself alongside with other people, to be able to punch the organized entity and prove your worth, basically. And because the entity is organized, it's going to actually acknowledge your effort. Basically, it's so satisfying to just break it down all of a sudden. I just pick this fucking up and break down life. I'm sorry, guys, I have to do it. So this is water energy and this is earth, as I've said. So this one has to be wind, right? So being healthy is about being knowing how to feel good, basically. It's just that simple. And you avoid violence. This is something you have to avoid in order to earn this, right? Or sustain, whatever. But you naturally earn those things anyway, so you just have to avoid it. Except for why. Although, I guess you have to avoid confusion. Because usually confusion is what pushes you to boredom. If you're confused of what to do, that's kind of what boredom is, right? Like, you can't decide. There's a lot of things that you can do in life, but you're not interested in those. Why? That's the first thing that happens, right? Why are you not interested? All of a sudden, the confusion kind of creeps on you slowly, and you're not supposed to answer those questions. You're supposed to run, because that's a fucking creeper that's gonna explode in your face. I mean, I'm just saying, you played Minecraft, right? You know the fucking rules. You just build a fucking house. Build a house, dude. Just build a house. Don't fucking question. Just build a fucking house, okay? Even if it explodes, in the end, just build it. Please. That's how you play Minecraft. This is one of those fucking revelations of insanity. Don't question why. You have to build a house if you started playing Minecraft. That's the first thing you do. Okay? God damn it, okay? So being alone sometimes can be a consequence of other people disliking you, right? And they just leave you in a corner to be a spectacle for the rest of whoever decided it was a good idea in the first place. So this is like the highest form of, just like this is the highest form of not heat, and this is confusion, probably the highest form of boredom, is not knowing what to do at all and being completely confused of a lot of things. And that becomes frustrating then. So the same way I say black magic, because you don't actually know what's going on and it's ruining your life. It's not just a magic trick. It's something just poisons you for the rest of your life, technically, because it ruins your relationships, and your relationships is just that so valuable, right? But what I'm doing here, I'm showing you an example of how to never be alone. Right? It's as sad as it is, and I barely can conjure this energy, this solution, basically, for people. I'm not an expert, but hey, I have something to share. I am doing something constantly of combating this in a straightforward sense, which is not as straightforward as you would want it. You know, if you want to do it straightforward, you open up a cafe or you just work in there. You work in a place surrounded by people and you hope that you actually get to own that place. That's what my friend ended up doing, and you know, that's his solution. That's probably a perfect solution of not being alone, but that's not a perfect solution for everything else, right? I know that, okay? But I found my own solution, and I needed like a half-assed solution, and I want to embrace the insight. Because usually people find very creative solutions, just like in Victorious, you have a person who's constantly walking with a puppet. Not anymore, apparently. I suppose Robbie in season 3 actually lost the puppet somehow. It's just gone. I haven't actually seen it for a while now. Now that I'm scratching my memory of like, wait, where's the puppet? Fuck. What happened? Did this guy grow out of this? That's another thing of like trying to combat not being alone. Is just a little a little flavor of how the solution can be found. Right? Creating imaginary friends or pretending to have imaginary relationships with people. That's how I fucking solved this shit. And I'm kind of proud of that as well. I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty difficult thing to do. So I've solved these two problems, but the problem of money and health is out of my reach. That's how fucking disgusting it is. Violence just constantly floods into my life, and as well as it's cold. It's really fucking cold. I sometimes can't afford to do certain things that I'm supposed to be able to do to enrich my life in the future, right? Instead, I'm getting a bunch of experience to essentially come to this point and like realize, well, I have to work harder. I guess I don't know. I am doing it. I'm doing the same thing as I highlighted. Actually, I'm doing it right now as we speak. You just didn't see it because I didn't show it. But I'm still digging. Still Tyrium, by the way. I mean, let's not hide anything, but I do it in a different format now. I realize that divination is not a terrible skill. It's actually something you can use, apparently. Cool. So yeah, it's divination crafted. Items that just bring things to your bank. Automatic banking. Why not? Not for every skill, I suppose, but it works out for me. Because I am harvesting a resource, and that's what you can use it for. Anyways. Alright, so money is a problem that I can't solve, and I probably want to learn more about solving this problem, because you never know when I change my personality all of a sudden. See, the thing is the opportunities that are presented to you. Because I have a certain personality, I have created opportunities for myself. I did not got opportunities. I have created them by force. And that's the only thing that works, meaning that you're kind of stuck with your personality for the rest of your life. You're stuck with the solutions that you have, and you barely hanging on, basically. It's really gonna create some mental illness in everyone's life, because their solutions are just never gonna come as opportunities unless they actually get a wonderful relationship or a wonderful business deal where they can actually get a chance now to spend their money and to, well, get to the next level, basically, solving everything they need to have solved. But technically I shouldn't be complaining. See, the problem is my life is not over yet. Who knows how opportunities work for older people? I'm still feeling like a fucking child, like a teenager who's just trying to figure things out. And yes, I'm 25 years old. That's supposed to be ancient now, and it's not. And I'm still gonna fucking climb mountains until I'm gonna be redeeming my success. See, for the longest of time, you can't earn success. You're still climbing the mountain. Why is this such an important token to understand? Because it's terrifying. Almost like until you get to 35 years old, you earn $0. Nothing. You're earning nothing forever. You are incapable of going forward in life. The only thing you are earning is experience. Because everything you're going to do is going to be wasted. Completely destroyed, completely meaningless, completely just experience that you get. It's just going to fade out. You're just trying to understand life as best as you can. And you're climbing a huge mountain. You can't compare yourself to anyone else because you're not there yet. You can only judge other people for your own good to better understand what life is about, and that's what I'm trying to do. This mountain climb, yeah, I feel it's like a 35 years until you actually reach the top of the mountain and you're like, I can finally do things and get opportunities and get myself fulfilled, basically, and stop being a certain personality stuck, basically. You get that, but you have to be prepared for it, because you don't have no idea what's going to happen when your life becomes perfect again. All of a sudden, like, wow. What are you going to do when your life is perfect and you get everything you want? It's not going to be funny. It's not going to be fun. You get to experience the other side of life, which is having things, because you have suffered through things. That's literally where things come from normally. It's really complicated. But that's where you have to be a baby to experience the other side of life, of not being a baby. And that's it. That's the whole thing. So once you climb the mountain, you realize what you have, what you actually have access to, and whether you're going to be happy or not. It's not like, life has everything to offer, but it's the mountain that you climb that's going to reveal to you whether you're going to be happy or not. It's the scariest thing, guys. Are you going to be happy? All right? That's your answer. You definitely wanted an answer to that, right? And you should have been looking for it, because you're not supposed to be happy right now. And if you were happy, I'm sorry, you're not getting enough experience from life. If you're happy, you might just be retarded. I don't know. Okay, your mountain might just be very, very tiny. So that's the deal, guys. Okay, so I solved being alone, but what else is this? For some reason, right, I'm very frustrated by this thing, but now it's being embraced. So I'm like, I guess I know how to be alone anyways. No problem. It's kind of weird. See, because being alone is the virtue. It's not the opposite. That's the virtue of having as many relationships as you can get, is ability to be alone and be cool with yourself. Because sometimes you want to infiltrate other people's lives to know what they think about you and twist those fucking thoughts. But you can actually be alone and be completely happy. Yes, I want to invade Ariana's life and be like, I'm a good person, right, Ari? And I want that fulfillment, right? I want it. Everyone wants that. But you have to understand that you're sort of gonna be alone in life anyways. Regardless what you're trying to do, you have to learn this skill and ask very little from people. Unless you can knock them out. I'm sorry, Ari. I'm tier 4. Get the fuck out of my way. Or get knocked out if you're in my team. I'm just saying, I got it. I got you. Healthy. Okay. So another thing that I have no idea about, but I'm trying very, very hard to achieve this, I know nature has a lot of things to offer. I don't go outside at all. And now that's healthy as well, all of a sudden. Not interacting with people, not going outside. Maybe that's a stretch. Maybe that's a little bit of stretch now. Because I have still zero idea how to be healthy, and every single time I go outside, everything changes within me. I'm like, I do feel healthier. I feel less burnt out. It's just common sense. Go outside. Get some fresh air. Ha ha. Don't be stuck in the same nasty place. Feel good about yourself. Make sure that you feel good all the time, because that's important. I can't do that. These are just voices in my head. I have no idea what that means. Please help me. That's how I feel. My entire life I feel like please help me. Because at school I'm the smelly guy, right? I'm the one who just doesn't give a fuck how I feel and doesn't care what other people think about me. I can survive this. I didn't care about those people. I was just stuck in my thoughts, and my feelings don't fucking matter. Besides, feelings are super easy to manipulate. So fuck those guys, who telling me that I'm not adequate enough to, feel good about myself, at least. But yeah, I wasn't pursuing that, so big deal. I still had to feel consequences though, and I guess that's a cool thing that you get from school, guys. You get consequences. You just can't avoid them. If you're nerdy, you're gonna be called out a nerd. I'm sorry about that. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with consequences. It's not that difficult either. Most of the time, if someone plays a card, you can play a counter card. You can understand what they played. You can experience that without harming yourself or being harmed. So there's a lot of things you can do, and I think I can handle this. I think I can handle being healthy once I get money first, because that's where it comes from. That's where health comes from. Believe it or not. Big fucking revelation, right? Obviously have to have habits that you want to inject into yourself, and you want to care about your feelings a lot. Really, really do. Do you gonna sit there and program a game in order to feel good in the future and make other people feel good? It's a big challenge. It's not gonna have a concrete answer all the time. Sometimes you just gotta go with it and always feel good, meaning that programming has to wait until it feels good to do it for once. And for the longest of time, I feel a lot of people are suffering, which just like I did. They have no idea what they're doing, but they're still doing it because it's so fun to figure out, isn't it? It's not. It's violence to yourself, basically. It's a lot of stress that you're not supposed to live through. It's a lot of, like, who cares? For the longest of time, you're programming alone. Nobody cares. You're not performance artist at that moment. You're just alone, stuck in your thoughts, and you're miserable, technically. Okay? This is a Minecraft video. You must understand that you enjoying other people suffering. When you're playing a fucking game, you think you're so fucking awesome, dude. When you're requesting a game, you feel you're so fucking awesome? Well, no, you're not. Go out there and fucking try and do it. Programming is gonna kill you. Come back and whine to me, because that's the wine that I want to drink, okay? That's the one. Wine for me. Let's go. That's how vampires get healthy. Give me some, okay? Let's fucking make a deal here. Vampires are not healthy, by the way, because they're dependent on other people's health. So I'm just saying. Yeah, vampires is pretty fucking lame. They have, I don't know. I don't want to say that people who solve the problem still have the same problem, right? It's like vampires are so good at being alone because they're so bad at being alone as well. It's kind of weird. So the same way I'm bored because I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere technically, so I'm bored all the time. I actually feel that deep down inside me, and well, it's crazy. It's crazy. So no amount of effort is gonna fix those things if it's too much, obviously. You can't just pour in and you're like permanently solved it. Just like with food, you can't just become fat and you permanently solve your feeding problem. The food will always have to flow, basically. What you have to actually solve is your habits, the way that you treat time and not yourself. Really, it's all about treating what you get and not what you already have. You already have yourself as a body. Like, you already got it. You know it's going to grow. So what you actually need to learn how to treat is time. What you're going to use time for and how to get these resources fulfilled. That's it. Congratulations. You went through ninja school level 1. run run as fast as you can, because that's the only thing that you're capable of learning, okay? I assure you, 90% of you, that's all you have to learn. Get the fuck out of my face. This blows my mind already, because it's the fundamentals of life, really. Again, you're just trying to avoid violence, but I have realized once I opened my heart, violence is everywhere. Everything is violence. Everything foreign is violence as well. And you also violent to yourself so you grow muscle, basically. And that's what health is most of the time. It's just growing a thick skin, muscle, being independent, feeling good. And appreciating feeling good. The feeling of good, because it's going to fix a lot of things. However, I'm not sure why Ariana doesn't have perfect eyesight, though. Why? You're the queen of health. How could you mess that one up? Your eyesight. How? Please explain. I get it. You don't wear glasses just like I don't. Okay, but why we're on the same fucking level, right? Why you're also small? You know, you shouldn't just be tiny. I get it. You're trying to hide away from violence, right? And a lot of water people are actually very tiny. No. Let's say no to that. I want to figure this shit out. But just like Avril Lavigne is tiny as well. She's tinier because she's older as well. That's scary to me, okay? She's actually Ariana's height. There's a lot of things to figure out, and I'm like, there's a whole world out there. You can actually earn money, guys. And be healthy. Even if you have my personality. That's crazy. And, well, you can achieve other things as well. But maybe, just maybe, the best way to do it is to be friendly with the environment. There's actually no good solution. You just have to make friends. You know, eventually we're going to realize, oh wait, we do need to build society so that it works. Otherwise people will keep on dying very, very fast. Because that's what actually kills people. It's like leaving a baby on its own. And the baby dies. He doesn't care anymore because nobody cares for him either. And a baby can't live. They understand that better than anyone else of what life and death is, because they get to decide. Babies, literally, get to decide after they see reality. If you leave a baby, he dies. Congratulations. Cries and dies, man. And they're quick. That's the beauty of babies right now. That's the introduction to babies and why they're cute. Live fast, die fast. If you can't keep up, man, I'ma die fast. I know there's some kind of meme, but I can't come up with it. Just Just keep on making baby memes. I know we can get there, okay? As a team, as a society, okay? Not keep making babies, because I think we overdo it quite a bit now. I think we're in an awakening situation where we're like, wait, how many babies? Wow, we don't have any good parenting skills, or parents for that matter. What is happening, you know? How many babies were born in last 50 years? Are you kidding me? Where did those parents come from? What are they thinking? Exponential growth, guys. You will never understand what that means. It's it's bullshit. All right, that's about the ending of the episode, I believe. I have like 20 minutes more. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Mountain climb. Yeah. I almost want to put down baby meme, because we have to have one. Babies know about life and death so well. Oh boy. So I'm really comfortable with money, sort of. I am comfortable with knowing what money is, because I'm sitting and being burned by it every now and then. But then being healthy is just the most foreign thing for me. I have no idea about it. Just zero. Okay? Zero. I have no idea what sun does to you, what the moon does to you, what cold, what heat does to you, what exercise does to you, what learning how to breathe does to you. What happens when you are very excited and you get to do a performance, for example? What does that does to you, to your body? And you know, which ones do you pick and which ones do you stay away from? What kind of behavior you want to adopt? All of these things have been experimented to brim by certain people, and we want to learn that. At least me. I'm a different kind of. I'm a person who sits down and watches YouTube videos. That's the whole description of me right now. There's nothing more. Just like Taylor Swift has a, a full description of cats. One word, but her description is full, because cats can be anything, right? While my description is just a guy watching YouTube videos. Nothing to see here. You know, you don't want to reverse screen, basically, and see a bunch of people watching YouTube videos instead of you watching YouTube video. You just get to see a bunch of people watching. It's kind of weird, you know, awkward. Or they see you, basically, and you, I don't know, dude. That would be a fun little experiment that YouTube could pull off. It's like, as you watch a YouTube video, they just turn on the camera on two sides, basically randomly generated, and you get to stare for 10 seconds at another person, basically, for no good reason. Just YouTube trolling. We have access to your camera, just so you know. I I would love some awkward moments. That would be amazing. Okay, I would probably pay for it if I had money for it. You know, just saying. Be aware that this could happen at any point. One last thing is, like, I've experimented about, or at least I lived an experiment of, like, not having hot water, and I realized that hot water is the only thing that cleans you. There's no body gel that you can put on your body and it's gonna be actually useful to you. I just clean my hands and my face, and I technically am not even using a shower at all, ever. And then I clean my legs sometimes, and it's like, my clothes are being cleaned by my mom, obviously. That's a wonderful thing that my basement provides. But the idea is, like, weird. I haven't been using a shower ever since we disabled hot water. She did it because my mom, right? Because she has a bad habit of wasting hot water, as she uses it to clean clothes. constantly, and we don't have a washing machine. And technically, it's almost like a roller coaster of bad ideas. But it's all my dad's fault, basically. My dad should have encouraged me to come back home because I have earned a bunch of money, right? Instead of actually asking that money to be delivered to him for no good reason, where he spends on this online scam, right? Online gold digger scam. Crazy, right? Amazing. So I lost 1,500, and he returned like 700 or something, and then we get mad at each other, and so he doesn't fucking return the rest, which was still big money, and I could have went back home. I could also went back home without having this laptop, which I realized is much more valuable than the two other laptops combined. And I also had a computer as well, which broke. So one laptop has been able to sustain. Also, because the computer broke, it's my fault. Because I was building it basically. I had the option to build it. And never play Legos with expensive things, okay? If your Legos cost $1,000, don't play with Legos, okay? You have to just try not to buy something like this because it's such a disaster. I mean, one part broke and I couldn't use the computer because I just don't know how to replace it. And in UK, I did not have a contact of who gets the job done. Basically, I don't know who to trust, and that's the scary part. The scariest part is just being stuck with not knowing what to do or who to trust. Like, that's the worst. So going back home is just a absolute bliss. You know, when people have a stupid language and just 3 million people living in one country, you get to appreciate the culture that we kind of trust each other very much, because we already are isolated. We have successfully defeated coronavirus with like 20 deaths or something, with very low ratio or whatever. But like, who cares? We're already isolated. We're just celebrating some stupid shit, right? We're just realizing that we have been isolated as a tiny country that nobody knows about. So congrats. I'm one of those people. And I kind of hate my culture, but I can appreciate it at the same time. Uh, it might just be heaven on earth for some people. Who knows? Uh, so it would be a perfect place where, celebrities could come down and ground themselves finally to sanity, to actual life where they can trust other people and all that shit. And also mostly be unknown at the same time. Uh, Almost like a hiding spot. Who doesn't like that? But I'm just saying, okay? I'm just winking at the same people that I put in my team, right? Maybe celebrities could live in this island in the middle of nowhere. Like, wink, wink. It's not about life, it's about, because the culture is so solid, it might just need a few idols. It might just need a few refreshments, so we appreciate our culture even more if it gets highlighted by other people. But I think what it would take to fully appreciate is like a new language, a next level of language. Because our language sucks, by the way, and English is amazing. But English has flaws as well that our language doesn't have. If we combine those languages together, maybe we could find something new. But in order to create a new language, in order to create this kind of level of a baby, you have to find huge shifts You gotta move mountains, basically. Have to let me create my reality. And fund me. And believe in me. If you understand what I'm bringing to you. So, yeah. It's deep because there's a lot in my head right now. And there's probably a lot possible in life that is trying to influence you constantly and put thoughts into your head that you don't want to say. It's hard to control yourself at some point. Like, how did we get here? I was just saying that I wanted to get some influential people and change the language so I get more comfortable with where I live. Because I can trust this place somehow. It's crazy. Like that's the reason why I hate America. Is like it's a huge land, almost the body of water now. Because you can't trust anyone. Everyone's gonna rip you off because they're just acting like water. And if you stay in water for too long, it actually is gonna rip you apart. Weird. Does it sound weird? Isn't it not true though? You don't just wrinkle up. You become like a very, very sensitive balloon, basically. If anything pricks you, you're gonna start bleeding out, and because you're bleeding out in water, you're gonna get messed up, basically. It's just gonna completely destroy your body. I don't know. That's the way I see the story play out. You become very, very weak in water. And that's the way that I see Americans. Just a body of water that just make each other weak as well. Or completely fade out of existence. It's weird. And they're sucking everyone else who just comes in from other places for their fucking energy, basically. Because they don't exist. It's a weird thing to metaphorize like that and turn everyone into water and like, is that gonna work? No, okay, let's just move on. But the idea is like America is huge. And they speak the same language and it might have flaws and slowly it might just, will not be able to keep up with other cultures as fast as the other ones develop special tricks and whatever, and they will not get to enjoy it anymore because they're losing the power, or the internet is not very welcoming to Americans anymore. Even though they get to start it, they might not get to finish the course of the internet. See, that's the cruel part. Americans might be consumed with their own problems and be stuck with that. It's like they're going to be in constant coronavirus crisis while we get to move on and rule the internet. Technically do exactly what I just did and threaten the YouTube platform or any other platform that is going to be taken over by something, by a much more wiser force. So be careful, right? The scariest part about real life is realizing that everything repeats, and we already had a perfect civilization that has been broken down, and like we call ourselves humans and all that shit. We might not have lost everything, but we certainly lost quite a bit. You can think that way, either because our history is rich or is infinite. But the idea is that, look, I just said humane being. I didn't say human being. I said humane. And all of a sudden you can include anything, right? Anything that is humane. And now that being is now respectable as well. And a part of our humanity's culture. It doesn't have to be human exactly, like a perfect being that dominates the earth, but it can still be humane, meaning that it doesn't attack you straight away. It doesn't demand you stupid things. You know, cats are pretty cool. Probably humane beings. And that's the coolest meme ever. Alright, I finally have a proper commentary about America being water-based. And it's pretty simple. I mean, water is about feeling good, right? It's a special environment, let's put it that way, where you pump money because money gets very quickly destroyed in this environment, but also very much needed to make waters warm and comfortable. While at the same time, you become very numb, and the experience can be very painful if you prolong yourself to live underwater, to live in just following feelings and not common sense. This is where the limit basically comes for people living in America. It's like the moment you cross common sense is the moment your nation suffers tremendously. Just it gets immediately banned until you reverse damage, basically. What I mean by that is that I have touched, on political bullshit, equality bullshit, of like trying to understand people who you can't understand, and not be phobic about them or ist about them, whatever. It's it's still water though. Trying to be empathetic, by all means necessary, at some point is gonna cross common sense, and I will congratulate Americans for just destroying their country, even for a split second. Uh, if they allow the rest of the world to actually flourish, uh, they will regret it, I'm sure. But it's gonna be fun to watch, basically. I mean, we shouldn't care too much. It's just now a big blob, basically, of blah blah blah, telling nonsense, because it doesn't follow common sense at some points, and we have to capture when that happens. Because the problem right now is the common sense is we literally give privilege to Americans to break common sense, so we get to laugh in the end. Obviously, we literally control this game, and Americans are gonna get snapped their fingers off, or maybe the whole hands off, until they can't actually literally do anything. They will just have to watch the horror of just how wrong they are, right? About everything. Literally everything. Imagine that. Because if you don't have common sense, you're gonna be wrong. From the very beginning to the very end, right? Of whatever your journey was. Uh, it's gonna be terrifying. But at least now I can sit back and be entertained. That's what they have to offer, I guess. It's pretty awful. Yeah, the only privilege that they also have is that they have money being pumped in. They can borrow a bunch of money and pretend that they will gonna bring the value back somehow. But the only thing we have is just this underwater world that we can't live in. We can't possibly be a part of this thing. It's and now kind of Donald Trump embraces the idea that it's going to be walled out and no immigrants can actually come in and whatever, like bullshit like that. To the point where he kind of exposes the whole idea. He pumps so much charisma, which is an equivalent to money. Let's put it that way. He wants to make America great again, but it's more like America capitalistic again or whatever, like that sort of idea. It's not very wise, and you get to really understand what America is about, highlighted with a really sharp color pen, basically. It's a very simple equation, right? At first, you allow common sense to be broken. Yeah, you still give privileged people who break their a new ground of common sense, who just are crazy for the sake of crazy. I think we're having that right now, and it goes with phases, right? The equation evolves. So now, if you're trying to keep on breaking new grounds of crazy, now I get to fucking police you. There was one time in YouTube history when I wanted to like open up a police. Oh, and the way it works is very simple. You just highlight crazy, just make people more and more crazy until they destroy themselves, potentially, or they get captured like Pokemon. That can happen. You know, hospitals are happy to take your money. I'm just saying, to feed you medicine and to prove that you're crazy, basically. And while it's trying to do that, it's going to be profiting from whatever you're doing, basically. Whatever you're crazy about, we're going to figure out and feed it to you on demand. It's just beautiful, but it also is a nightmare. I'm gonna remind you that, okay? American dream is now gonna become an American nightmare because now we get to dream. You know, like one of those things, one of those beautiful things that can happen. That's very terrifying, believe me. Now we get to express our opinion. Remember that. You know, you didn't get enough backlash just yet. Just until you heard the full context of our opinion. It's important. It's important to learn stories and learn full context that is possible in the first place. So yeah, it's gonna be terrifying. But now because I'm entangled in this culture, I'm not a bad guy. I'm actually too sentimental and I'll try and help as much as I can. Actually. While the other side, I'm I'm a zero. I'm useless. Okay, I'm not the bad guy, but I'm certainly not the good guy, and I don't want to be either. Uh, and even if there's like a, if I'm peeking through a keyhole, that doesn't mean that I'm a fucking stalker. I'm just very curious what the fuck is happening, like, and I get the privilege to actually look at it as it falls apart. Now, with that said, I just wanna make sure that I finish the video where it belongs, like it's Minecraft, okay? I need to highlight it as much as possible, and it's not doing that. I even nerfed a little bit of points because girls, okay, if they sitting here in recruit section, they're not supposed to be as relevant because you can literally dump a bunch of recruit girls and be like, hey, look at that, all these cute girls actually supporting Minecraft and whatever, and they're not. The two girls that I found just kind of happen to uh, associate somewhat close, and the girls that are actually in Minecraft are pretty repulsive. I'm not gonna lie, repulsive. You know, they found their children audience and let the children gobble up those fucking girls at that point. From inside out, you know, it's one of those fucking pregnancy tests. Well, are you pregnant? Are you really badly pregnant? Well, let them eat you. Ha ha. I watched Victorious again, and sometimes Victorious just happens to be the darkest show ever. That you wouldn't expect it to be, man. I can't wait for, like, there were some highlights uploaded on YouTube where uh, Ariana goes nuts or overly sexual, that sort of stuff. I can't wait to see the full context. Because actually, there's always full context for every show. It just bothers me so badly. You would think that something is out of place and means nothing completely, but at the same time, it does seem like there's context that just gonna creep you out. But the show itself is gonna creep you out anyways. I mean, it is gonna try and explore all kinds of feelings, so it's gonna step into horror genre very quickly. It's almost like the go-to, basically. So, okay, I'll have to suffer through that, but it's a good show. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, there's a reason why there's Team 10 basically now, and I'll just keep it at that. I'm satisfied with them sitcoms. Uh, and and that's a long running show. Like, holy shit, I can't survive this, man. This is next level for me. It's like acting is like the same bullshit as programming. I just don't have enough experience to talk about it, but I can give you hints, right? I can give you hints how it feels like. You're spending a lot of time. It feels painful. It feels painful to try and come back to it, right? When you've written a bunch of code, you're trying to watch back on your code, and you're like, how do I improve this? I can't. It's already there. It's already frozen. Now I have to warm it up and bring back that personality that understood what this code was about. And even though that process is actually pretty valuable, it's pretty valuable for actors to also be vigilant of their own work and what they did, and trying to bring it back, bring that personality back over and over again to themselves, just to appreciate themselves more. That's pretty good. You know, if I programmed something beautiful, I I really am happy that I still remember that Spawn the Creeper's Forge was a great success. Congratulations, Gurnex. It's a great success because I was happy. I was happy. I know I was happy. And that's all it fucking takes, okay? My fan base was confused, and some of them have attached to me, and congratulations, you failed. Unless you survived those 7 years, technically, like, how can you possibly go through that? Uh, but that's a big deal. 7 years is a big deal, and also understanding that this is inevitable, right? The decision to move on and explore yourself in different categories of life is inevitable. The same way, it might just be inevitable that you will have to learn what programming is about and contribute one way or the other. It is possible to contribute. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet, but it's always possible. Um, yeah, I'll have to expand on that a little bit more. I think it's a big topic. Might as well, put it down. Just as a definition, it almost stands on its own. So you can find certain tokens that just be one word, which is unbelievable. That is unbelievable then. But yeah, that's how I feel about contribution. Because if you allow an open source behavior where anyone can pitch in ideas and the best ideas win based on what the algorithm has to say as well, right? Based on our opinions or whatever, on how we behave, how long we play, the statistics, right? We hack these things together, we figure it out. It would be amazing if YouTube actually tried and explain their algorithm, because that would be the most watched video, first of all, because we actually fucking want to know. So yeah, fuck you, music videos. There's a new gang in town, and that gang is like, how does YouTube work though? Please, anyone from officials, anyone. See, the craziest thing is that YouTube officials don't actually make videos. Like, how crazy is that? Please explain what that means. You know, don't even know how to make videos because they fail on YouTube Rewind. Or potentially they're like, well, we YouTube officials, we don't actually have to worry about YouTube Rewind, so take this piece of shit, you know? Just fuck off, man. Fuck your stupid platform. I am taking it though, you know? Because I'm stuck on the internet and I don't have anything to do, so I'm just gonna take a platform just out of my own boredom. And my boredom has to be respected because I'm that sort of person that you either keep me entertained or I'll keep you entertained. I'll keep you on your toes, man. That's how it fucking goes, right? The moment people are starting to mine into my videos, starting to feel like in Minecraft, and this is a beautiful conclusion, right? Minecraft is me. I am Minecraft, boys. Look at Minecraft team, how much I'm interested. Look at me. I'm catching up. I'm catching up real fast. I am Minecraft, okay? Antoine had an opportunity to play me, basically. When I went into his Discord, literally, I was showing up everywhere, and I couldn't stop showing up because it was too much fun to troll around and to have fun for myself. It was entertaining, okay? So, I am Minecraft. There's a bunch of videos. Congratulations. Maybe you have discovered finally. Because for some reason you love this on the background. Playing. And trying to communicate with you. Wow. You heard me say some stuff, boy. For 3 hours. How did you do that? I don't know. But I think it's just as hard as to play Minecraft. Is to listen to someone and actually follow the instructions. Because there's a lot of instructions here being thrown your way. Because everyone has a direction in life that they have went somewhere and now they want to make a few changes. And and my videos are certainly that, is keep on telling people that you need to make changes immediately. But at the same time, I wouldn't recommend this video for it. It's just common sense, okay? Let's just remember. I don't have to explain some things because common sense. And I can use that so viciously. It's beautiful. We can put it down. I don't have to say that America is water token or whatever. It's common sense. Common sense token. Just a token that has a name token within itself. That's how fucking beautiful this is. It explains itself, okay? It's just a token that has to exist as well. I'm sorry. Yeah, that me being Minecraft is the only explanation that allows me to understand of why Minecraft cannot be destroyed. Of course it cannot be destroyed. It's me. Why would I want to destroy myself? You know? The common sense is lost so far that now that's the conclusion. That's the next conclusion. I am Minecraft and I can't destroy myself, so I just have to embrace the idea. Yes, you can watch my videos and build a lot of blocks of information. How do you stack those blocks? Figure it out. It's a challenge to even stack the blocks upwards. Remember that. Minecraft does not have perfect physics, okay? perfect logic or perfect common sense in the first place. You have to actually unlearn what you have learned, asshole. It's one of those times, man, where the phrase hits you very, very, very hard. Minecraft. So, I mean, I've seen people comment the weird meme of like, you're gonna see the world as Minecraft if you go too deep into it, and I'm sure a lot of people can understand what that means now, like for real, as deep as it gets. Like how fucking frustrating that's, and it's just a snippet of my fan base. If I actually was popular in Minecraft, I might just lose my fucking mind, literally like crazy, right? It's a snippet of my fan base that I was able to conjure honestly and observe it, and it was still as harmful as it gets to my well-being, basically. I did something great, and it's now in a Hall of Fame, okay? It's out there, and don't think about it too much. It's within me. I know why I did certain things, and I can replicate those things. Uh, it's just so easy. It's so easy. But the real problem is not me not doing things. You have to recognize that, okay? That's the biggest problem. You can't dislike my videos just because I don't take enough responsibilities. Are you sure about that? Can you um, can you wash your eyes a little bit? Rinse your eyes, dude, and open them up again. Me not taking enough responsibilities, me getting stuck somewhere. Yeah, I'm stuck sharing my opinion because now I have too much of that. For the longest of time, I sit there and just try and come up with ideas and all those crazy things that I could add to my game, and I've been stuck there. I'm not stuck here. I'm exploring the fucking world out here. So, I am Minecraft. You know why? Because I was a sponge for Minecraft. I sucked in everything Minecraft has to offer, even more so that you can imagine, because most of the stuff are my ideas anyways. And that's it. You can play me if you really want to. If you really, really want to, you'll fucking figure it out. Believe me. So go fuck yourself if you didn't. If you're still attached to me as like a little fucking fanboy. Because you're not. Most of the people wouldn't even watch my videos, so like, who cares, right? But I put Minecraft in the title, and it's your duty to fucking respond, you know? So, here you go. Here you go. I think that's it. I don't even have to like try and squeeze Minecraft team because I already taken up all the time. I'm sorry. Time's up. If I have too much things to say, it's time out. And we have to take a break. I mean, the problem is I have given them a month, meaning that regardless of how fast I work, they actually just gonna get more credit for it if I work very fast, because I will get myself out of the way to be able to provide them the value that they need to influence me, which is 1,000 points to influence me to. But wait, 1,000 points is pretty difficult to actually achieve, isn't it? Isn't it? Very difficult. It's top 3, and only top 2 securely has 1,000 points. But in some sneaky ways, they actually like cheated a little bit, and they stole some points from me. Can you believe? They actually stole a little bit of a points. At the same time, let's not forget the fire aspect of this whole game. Fuck this shit, man. I remember having some crazy fucking neighbors, dude. Really crazy. Who just can't stand me. I would say that's crazy. Because, voice is that weapon that you cannot disrespect. You just can't. If you see someone outspeaking you, you have to go. You have to just go. Run away. It's game over. You can buy yourself silence for me, but you can't shut me up. You just fucking can't. And this is the first thing that I'm gonna give to Smosh. I'm gonna bring back the 4.1, meaning that they lose a point because they say audience to shut up. And I'm one of those guys who will not shut up. So they lose that one extra point. I store some points because leaders now don't know where to put the points in. And they can only put points on relevant people, right? People who are still rising into fame. And we don't actually know, you know, at any point recruits could actually come here on the leaderboard. But now the leaderboard itself is kind of messed up. I think the real problem of why I wanted to do this a bonus event of boys versus girls is because I fundamentally changed how I score people. So girls have even higher privilege now more than ever before. That's what scared me. But I'm sure I will fix it over time, and the event can still happen. It just has to be a little bit different, or still the same. You just reset the score, right, and see how they do in a vacuum against each other. It's simple as that. And most of the time, I'm going to be too sentimental to girls, but it still should just be 20 or 10% bonus and not something outrageous. So yeah, it's best to say now 20% because that's what you get to see here, sort of. Maybe it's more like 12%, literally 12%. I should have just given up myself and like calculated exactly what the percentage is, but I didn't. So let's do it right now. Jesus Christ, how stupid was I? All right, yeah, I was right. It was 12% basically. I do have a great feeling now for the ratios, which makes me feel really good. 12% is reasonable. So that's it. That's a simple test that I have to do, is like test it and it shouldn't exceed 15%. That's it. Test their scores once again, and I will at least know that my current method isn't completely game breaking and destroying reputations that I'm not supposed to destroy. Right? Let's make that happen. But obviously I'm gonna make that happen sometime later. Now I'm just gonna back off, finish the video. I'm glad everything came back to normal after, you know, losing my laptop for a little bit. You never know, those things are crazy. And my laptops are expensive. And sometimes I don't know what to do with them. Okay. There's a lot of technology out there. Floating around could help a bunch of people, I'm sure. It's kind of annoying. But just even manufacturing or revisiting shit content on YouTube, you know, the same way you can revisit shit technology. Sometimes you just want to move on forward and forget about the past, right? Well, it's great, but there's also a piling up mountain of the past, basically. We literally have to eventually come back and reanalyze what we're throwing out seemingly as trash, seemingly as something completely useless. We should always try and like reuse materials if possible. And that's a simple insight, but just like in Minecraft, right? Every material is somewhat reusable, at least as a block. It's a weird thing, but at the same time, it's like you can always manufacture blocks like super easily. Like, who cares about blocks? Are you kidding me? Destroying blocks takes just as much amount of time, and that's the crazy thing about reality. If we realize that Earth is flat, it's not the global warming that is real. The reality is uh, that eventually we're gonna live in our own poops, in our own trash, and we do need to move on. We do need to find another place to live, and we also need to uh, somehow control the sun when that happens. Uh, Somehow. We can still somewhat do it, like, especially if sun follows the pattern of just where is the uh, where is a cold spot that the sun want to heat up, basically. It's like the sun's intention is to heat things up, but when it reaches very, very cold spots, it gets reflected or bounces off. So that's the way that I think the sun operates if we on a flat world, but we're also most likely on like infinite flat world as well. Very likely. So we have plenty of land to actually explore, but the reason why we didn't explore it is it's very cold and it's just completely worthless at that point. It's completely worthless. It just destroys every effort ever because it takes too much effort to actually even just analyze the land and what it has to offer. Like, the only solution to it is ability to move sun itself, and we can't even fucking figure out what planet we're on and how it operates uh, exactly, because if you really think about it time and time again, it actually makes no sense that we're on a piece of rock that's keep on moving. Like, it makes no sense. Who would create this? How would this manifest on itself? There has to be logic in the universe for things to exist. Just like science loves entropy of things just completely destroying themselves autom- automatically. Like, as if everything is on fire. As if everything can only be used as a tissue only once, and then it becomes trash. That's your entropy fucking idea. But the same way, like, then science starts treating people like trash with their stupid ideas. Like, eventually, things get out of control really fast, and I just I just want to understand that. At least we can appreciate Minecraft for being flat, okay? I have said it. Here you go. It's flat. Maybe we would appreciate Minecraft a lot more if I actually expanded on this idea and I actually froze Minecraft and made people unfreeze Minecraft by earning experience points. This seems like a really, really cool idea, by the way. But how the fuck do I freeze Minecraft? Are you kidding me? What code could possibly allow me to freeze Minecraft? I think there is something that could allow me to freeze Minecraft. Something very special that Antoinem knows very much about is the border. The border mechanic is very, very flexible, actually. Huh. Freeze Minecraft. Let's do that. Let's fucking do that. I didn't use border mechanic before when it comes to Minecraft, and I think it's the most colorful mechanic there is. Uh, Maybe I've changed my mind how I want to make my map now. Maybe there's a better idea. Maybe there's an idea that I have to just express and certain tools that I can use to make things a lot easier for me. When it comes to games, you have to keep on exploring of what tools you have been presented with, and people are sort of familiar with them, but never really unleashed full potential. This is the reoccurring theme that I find in Hearthstone, and Minecraft could probably use the same principles as well to improve. I mean, in Skyrim as well, like I already said, I found a gameplay that I really enjoy, and I can't stop playing, honestly, sometimes. The only reason why I stopped is I found better things to do. But every time I can relapse and be happy playing Skyrim at some point. It's just that simple. Maybe not too happy because it's always the same thing over and over again, and sometimes it has a few annoying uh, things pop up because it's repetitive now. It's not being updated either. There's nothing new to explore, uh, but sometimes there is, and that's satisfying. So it's not completely horrible, but yeah, at some point you build up a strategy that just adapts to the same landscape, and it gets pretty boring. You don't want to feel like a speedrunner. You do want to feel like you're familiar with how the game works, but not, Minecraft, okay? You want to play Minecraft like an RPG for once. Okay, so with that in mind, I'll try my best and figure out how Minecraft can be turned into a game again. Maybe I already have something in mind. Maybe the best thing to do is like, well, collect blocks. Destroy blocks as fast as you can. Destroy as many blocks as you can, and that's gonna give you experience. And you need experience, right? To progress through the border and to allow the border to move as well. So you don't leave trash behind or destruction behind. Or so you would leave it behind you. Like, it's gonna create a crazy psychological twister, basically. But the most important part is gonna be real. It's something that people will be able to interact and tell their own stories. Well, I'm gonna be able to point finger at them and be like, SkyBlocks, shut the fuck up. There's a new boy in town. It's GroundBlock. Let's go, boys.